You ever wonder what makes a great gamer? Great gaming is not only about cheering on our teammates, but also being there to pick us up when we're down.
Guardian down!
Have you ever played Destiny with a fellow Guardian and thought to yourself, I wonder what their life is like? Questions like these spark conversation, friendship, and community. We're a Destiny 2 podcast that focuses on three things: community, news around the gaming industry and Destiny 2, and thought-provoking topics in the game. We're Guardian Downcast. Your stories, your community, your destiny. Hey, what's up, Guardian? Welcome to episode 259 of Guardian Downcast, the Destiny podcast. Hey, I'm your host, Todd the Gator, and I'm a Day One Guardian who loves gaming and especially the Destiny franchise. In this episode, I have a brand new guest on the show tonight. He's been a member of our Guardian Downcast community for a year now and is a father, a grandfather, and is a streamer by his namesake, Only Gramps Gaming. Please welcome RhasaGhoull. How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you tonight?
Very good, man. I'm excited to talk to you. You sound like an interesting guy, man. We did a little pre-show talk here, and I'm finding out stuff already. It's really cool, man. Really cool.
Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, here's what we'll be discussing tonight. First, in the Guardian Downcast style, I'll find out more about RhasaGhoull and hear about his Destiny journey as well. I'll then test his Twitch reflexes in our fast-fire question and answer segment we call, oh yeah, it's back, the SpeedRun. I have 3 more movies I recently watched at the theater/Netflix. I'll have my opinions on them. I'll also talk about any pertinent news from Bungie in their weekly blog post, the TWAB. Sorry, I'm not going to call it the TWID. Then we'll answer questions for the show before we go to either my guest, RhasaGhoull, or to us in general. We'll both pick some music to add to our Guardian Downcast show playlist, which you can follow, by the way, on Spotify and Apple Music. The links are in our show description down below if you want to join along and listen. I'll have some community announcements before we go, and I have something I want to discuss with you. As you can see, we have a lot to cover tonight, so let's roll.
Hey, thanks for listening to Guardian Downcast. There are several ways you can contact us. First, you can find us on X at Guardian Downcast. Or you can find us on our Instagram at Guardian Downcast and see what pics and reels Todd the Gator and his podcast guests want to share with you guys. We have a brand new website too. Just visit guardiandowncast.com, where you can find all of our contact info, leave us a voicemail, give our show a rating or review, search for any past episodes, or even give back to our community. Also, don't forget to sign up for future updates to the show, where we'll also have random drawings throughout the year, and you may win a gift card or even some GDC merch. And finally, you can send us an email at guardiandowncast@gmail.com. Our community thrives on interaction, so get involved and check us out. And later, Guardian.
Well, RhasaGhoull, I really don't know a lot about you, man. I know you've been active in my YouTube channel. I've seen your comments. You've been very active in our Discord as well. You do a lot of streaming and a lot of stuff with the community. But let me start from here. Where are you from? What do you do for a living? Are you married, and do you have kids?
Well, I am married. I do have children. They're both grown. I have 4 grandchildren.
Wow.
The 4th one was born 2 weeks ago, actually. Guinevere Junia Purcell. Sorry, it takes me a second to get that middle name. I shall call her Junebug.
Nice.
But yeah, 4 grandbabies. Originally from Middletown, Ohio, but moved to Kentucky back in 1995, December of 95. Funny story, when I moved here, there was a giant blizzard. It was like 7 feet of snow. No joke.
Wow, that's tough. Yeah, that's probably not the best way to, but not setting your best foot forward, I guess, as far as a damn blizzard. Jeez.
Yeah, we got to stay in, and that's why my daughter was conceived. So
okay, well there you go. Name her after the storm, yeah. No, I'm not. Just kidding. Gee whiz, man, that's crazy. Well, how soon in life did you get into this thing we like to call video games?
Oh goodness, Atari 2600, ColecoVision.
Nice. I still remember those years. ColecoVision was back in that day. It was the console to play on, man.
Yeah, Donkey Kong Jr.
It's like they took everything that Atari couldn't do and they made it work. And it was such that. Now, don't get me wrong. That number pad joystick that they made you use with the side buttons was not ergonomically fit for a kid to play video games. Had the
twirly button on the front.
Oh my God, that was the craziest controller, man. I mean, what were those buttons for? I barely used them. I think it was just to select menu options, I think, is what I used it for. That's crazy.
When the Sega Master System came out, it was a couple years after that, I still had my Atari, and I could never really get Pitfall to work with that dumb joystick controller with one button.
Yeah.
And I found out that you could take the Sega controller, plug it in the back of the Atari, use the Sega controller.
Oh.
Sega Master System controller. So I just started playing everything with that.
See, my parents would never buy me anything Sega. They thought it was too expensive at the time. They said, you already have a ColecoVision. You don't need a Sega. You don't need a Sega. I'm like, well, I want the Sega. I want all of it. And no, my parents didn't have a ton of money when I was little, and they were not gamers. And I mean, if you think about it, we're probably the first video gamers of our generation. I'm guessing you're near my age if you have 4 grandchildren. So
49. I'll be 50
man,
on the
you
night.
are a young grandpa, man. Wow. Mm-hmm. Your kids must have gotten married really early. That is nuts.
They did. Both of them
4
did.
grandkids. Dang. I just got my first, and I feel like I've arrived, you know? Craziness. Yeah, those are some good times, man. The innocent times, right? When all games were everything. You had no other worries in life. It was awesome.
Right.
Go to baseball practice and come home and play video games. It was great.
Well, when I was growing up, it was, you were talking about your parents not having money. We were in the same boat. But we owned a comic book store. My family did. And so I worked that starting at age 11. And then we would go out when the comic book store closed at around 9 or 10, depending upon if it was summer or not. We would go and clean Picard Paper in Middletown, Ohio. We would clean Jerry Bryant's law office, also in Middletown, Ohio. And then we would go and clean a college, but I cannot remember the name of the college. We'd get home around 3:30 in the morning. I'd go to sleep, get up, go to school, do it again. And we did that five times a week. But because of that, we were able to also run that store, and with the store and with the cleaning business, we rented Nintendo games and Sega games before Blockbuster came along and such. That's telling my age, Blockbuster. But
I was there with you, man.
Yeah, we did that stuff, and so I got to play everything. I didn't own it, but I got to play everything as it came in, everything that came out. And my dad was like, "You learn those video games, boy. So when people call in, they want to know tips. You can tell them." I was like, "I can't play all these and tell them all that crap."
I'm just a kid.
Yeah. I actually told him that once. I got in trouble for it. So
yeah, I hear you, man. That's dude. I always hated those kids where their parents owned the shop and they always got all the early looks at stuff. It always annoyed me. Yeah, they always had. Well, I guess there's pluses and minuses to everything in life, I guess. But wow. Well, how did you find this game, Destiny, man? Are you a day one guy, or did you come in later?
Well, I was working in ministry, and I did that all the way up until COVID hit. Uh-huh. And so, working in ministry, I became, listen to me, I became a LCO for Toys for Tots. And so I did that for 7 years. And the first year I did it, the year before I did it, I had been going to local GameStop, and people were talking about, "Hey man, Bungie's coming out with this new game. It's called Destiny, and it's the people that made Halo. It's going to be great." It's like, I never played Halo. I don't care. So I just, I didn't care. But then Christmas came around, and I was now an LCO, and I went in there and I was like, "Hey, Mr. GameStop manager, I've got a pro card." That's the only reason I bought it. And I was like, I want my discount, and anything you can give me under, if you can make other discounts or if you can lower the price of the games a little bit for Toys for Tots, I'd appreciate it. Because you're not supposed to give them used stuff, but I contacted the Marines and they said, yeah, if you want to reshrink it and clean it up and make sure it looks new, that's fine with us. We just don't have the ability to do that. I was like, cool beans, yeah, I'll do that. And so a bunch of kids were asking for like Call of Duty games, and they're always like $45 or $54, and you can only spend $29.99. So I decided the second year I went in there, the first year I went in there as an LCO, the guy that was the manager there, his name was Rob, and he's like, listen, why don't you just, you know your stuff, and everybody likes you when you come in here. He says, why don't you just work for us during the holidays, and you'll get a 25% discount. I was like, oh, well, all right, yeah, I can do that. So I started working at GameStop for like if you want to call it working at GameStop, I was there like 6 hours. And all I did was talk about video games. It didn't seem like work. And it didn't interfere with what I was doing previous, the ministry stuff. And so I was sitting there, and Destiny came out, and everybody was playing it. And they were like, you got to play this. And I was like, all right, I'll play it. So they had a checkout system at GameStop where you could take something, take it home, play it, so you knew what it was about, and you bring it back. So I took the game home, and I played Vanilla Destiny 1. I played the story in like 2 days. And I was like, well, that was fun, I'm done. And I took it back. And so the first two little expansions, like House of Wolves, and can't remember what the second one was. I know one was House of Wolves. Dark Below.
Yeah, that was with the Crota raid.
I didn't play that, nor House of Wolves. I didn't play it again until The Taken King was coming out. And I was still at GameStop. And I think I was a manager at that point. And they still working the other job in ministry, though. But everybody was just super excited. Oh my God, The Taken King looks amazing. It's going to be great. Look at all this stuff. And so I watched the trailer for it. I was like, wow, that looks actually really good. And so if you bought The Taken King, they were doing a promotion where you got the base game for nothing. And I was like, yeah, all right, I'll do that. And so I think it was a GameStop promotion where you got a code and you put the code in on your PlayStation. And I went home and I played Taken King, and it creeped me out, and I loved it, and I've been playing ever since. So it was the Taken King that got me.
Yeah, so you're Taken top, but you did play the original game.
Oh, yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I also went back and played Dark Below and House of Wolves.
Caught up on it.
Yeah.
Couldn't beat that glowy armor they gave you, the ornaments and stuff.
Yeah, I went and did Crota.
Nice. That's awesome. That's a different kind of journey. I usually, people are like, yeah, my friends told me about it and I played it, but that's actually an interesting way of coming full circle around to playing. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah, I love it now. So obviously, yeah.
Is there a memory that comes to mind from those early days of Destiny?
Oh yeah. I had and this is just kind of illustrates how Destiny, and video games in general can just bring people together. So it's a more human story instead of a Destiny memory. But I had a really good friend growing up in high school and in college, and we had a really bad falling out, oddly enough, over a video game called EverQuest. Yeah, it was a really bad falling out. I don't want to get into it. It was stupid. And, we all got rid of each other's contact, changed our phones, just lost touch, right? Mm-hmm. And so I'm in the tower one day, and I'm just, putting stuff in the bank, and I'm going over to get those weapon requisitions that Banshee used to give you.
Mm-hmm.
And I see this character standing there. It's a Guardian, and the Guardian's name is Mojo Loco. And that was the name that my buddy used to use in all the games we played. And it was the name of his magician in EverQuest. And I was like, I wonder if that's Mike. So I open up PlayStation, I start sending him a message. Well, obviously my character's name is RhasaGhoull, and that was my magician's name in EverQuest. And as soon as I hit send on the message, hey, is this Mike? I get a message back, hey, is this Bruce? I was like, oh my God. And we reconnected through Destiny 1. Somehow ended up in the same tower instance after like 11 years of not speaking.
Wow.
And just reconnected, and we've been friends ever since.
I don't know if you heard Warcry's episode last week, but that's how we got disconnected from his. He had a gaming community, and it disbanded. Everyone just kind of lost touch. And I was playing on an alt account called This Old Guy Shot You or something. I just had, my hobby back then was making account names, and I was playing them in Crucible, and it was a Crucible only account. And I saw Warcry 1969. I'm like, I don't know anybody who would make that name other than Jeff. And I messaged him, and he, just about the same time I sent you him a message, he sent me one too. Wow, that's really weird. That's
balls.
That's pretty cool.
Well, see, that's what I'm talking about. It's little things like that. It's everybody's like, well, I go in here to play the game, and that's why I don't understand some of these young kids are like, I'm just going to go in there and own your face and PvP and then log out and go eat a burrito. It's more than that,
Mm.
So
yeah, different priorities when you're that age.
Mm.
It's just it's hard to think like a 20-something.
Right.
when you're not that anymore. I was probably terse with people, and I was probably very selfish, and who knows?
Well,
it's hard to say.
I was exceptionally selfish, and I'll tell on myself. It's a little haha you can pick on Raza. I spent $3,000, I'm not joking, on stupid stereo equipment to put into a Renault. If you remember those cars.
I know the Renault. Yes.
And like 2 days later, it got ripped off. And I was like, dang it!
Oh, I'm sure they didn't steal the car, though.
No. They actually left a note. They took the dash apart.
Oh, my God.
Put my old stereo back in because it was in the back seat. Hooked everything back up for the old stereo.
What?
Put the dash back. Yeah, I'm not joking.
No
Put the
way.
dash back together. Left a note, said thanks for the gear. I was like, oh my God. I mean, I was so mad.
Yeah, jeez. That's crazy. We had the removable faces. I remember back then they had, because everyone was stealing the faces
radios.
for a while there because you could plug them in if you had the right, most of the radios were pretty, the connections are pretty simple. You could put that face onto any other box that connected to it, and you could still steal just the face. I remember I had it in my pocket. It came with like a little cloth, little cloth, I don't know, a little bag I could put it in and put it in my back pocket. I'm like, geez, why am I carrying my car stereo around with me? It's so stupid.
Yeah, like a glasses case.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly the same size.
Those were hilarious.
I thought it was the coolest thing, though, man. I was like, this is so cool, man. Look at this. I can just take the face off. They're going to look at this and go, oh, I can't steal that. Yeah.
Do you remember the old portable CD players that people were like, you could put this in the car. It's got shock protection. You're like driving down the road. It's skip.
It skipped all the time. I tried that too. I tried the Walkman too. The disc Walkman. No, it couldn't hold up either. As soon as you hit a bump or something, it was just all over the place.
I'm definitely telling my age here.
I don't care. Everyone knows I'm old as dirt, so that's fine. Hey, let me ask you this. What character in the game do you like the most and why?
Oh, gosh. That's kind of put me on the spot. Well, I used to main Titan because and this is not a joke, I loved the Lion Rampant.
Yeah.
And I kid you not, for like 2.5 years, I didn't take those things off.
You could fly in the air, man. Sideways.
Yeah, it was just Lion Rampant everything. I remember doing, what was that? Eater of Worlds.
Mm-hmm.
And there was like this little section in the middle, and I could get up on this platform and jump with Lion Rampant and get across, and everybody else was like, you suck.
Oh, I remember that.
Get over there.
Yeah.
All the Cabal were coming out.
Mm-hmm.
But I used to main Titan, but then I started playing Warlock, and I think that's my favorite now, just because of the versatility and the healing, especially now with that new healing helmet.
Oh, yes.
That gives you the turret.
Yep. I
like that. I like the little Hellion.
Yes.
But I've also discovered there's a build out there that Geek told me about. He's also a member of Guardian Down.
Okay.
Or the GDC.
Yeah, I think I've seen him around.
Yeah, he's a good guy. But he told me about a build you put on Getaway Artist and use Bleaker, and whenever you consume your art grenade, you get the art buddy and the Bleaker.
I'm laughing because that's exactly the build I use.
I was like, oh my God, that's great.
I use the Bleaker turret. I actually I used was it Banyan or whatever it's called, the one where you get a solar orb. I have a solar orb.
There you go.
I have an arc orb, and I could actually get a third orb if I wanted to use the exotic pulse rifle, but I'd rather use
time to explain.
Yeah, I'd rather use Red Death and just get instant cure, especially in the upper level content.
I've been using Graviton Lance a lot.
Oh, it's good.
Outbreak.
Oh, yeah, they're good. Oh, Outbreak is, yeah, I'll talk about it. I had a lot of fun in Iron Banner this week, so I tested out all kinds of weapons. It was a lot of fun.
I haven't got to do Iron Banner this week yet. So.
No, we got another week. It's 2 weeks now.
Oh, yeah.
Nice? It's a 2-week event. It's great.
I'm sure the Trials players love that.
Oh, I'm sure they do. They've already expressed it. And I'm sure Twitter was ablaze. Yeah. Well, speaking of characters in the game, what NPC in Destiny do you like the most, and why?
Drifter. That's easy, Drifter. Yeah, he is such a hick. Seriously,
he's Kentucky through and through, huh?
Yeah, man. You get in there and he's like, "All right, Guardians, you ever try to snuggle up with a hive knight? He'll keep you warm at night." I'm like, seriously? Right. He's like, "You ever tried to eat a cabal? That's not gristle, it's muscle." I'm like, dude. So he's such a hick, but I love it.
It's great. It's great just sitting there watching him, listening to him talk.
Yeah, he's hilarious.
They put lines in there. It's really cool.
Yeah. And I loved during Season of the Drifter, if you told Zavala, you'd go into the match. He's like, "What's up, snitch?" I was like, "Wow."
Yeah, I was a snitch too. I was working Firecora. I was part of the head.
It was great.
Yeah,
it was great. I loved it.
It was awesome.
So he's probably my favorite character.
Yeah,
hands down.
He's the most colorful one, that's for sure. Yeah, compared to the other ones, I get that. Yeah,
him and Eris have got something going on. So
supposedly they've been into that. That's true.
Yeah,
especially in the lore. Yep, that's true.
I don't know about those 3 eyes, but
Yep. Switching gears here a little bit. How did you find our community originally?
Oh goodness. So another member of GDC, John the Bounty Hunter.
Yeah. We'll talk to him.
He actually formed a raid team that's part of GDC called Team Malfunction, and boy, do we earn that name. So I'm not joking. But the whole thing is we take people in and we don't promise we're going to clear anything, but we'll try and we'll teach what we can, and so the Malfunction. So
gotcha.
It's great.
I see that I see that in the Discord names.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit about that beforehand when I was telling you about somebody said, "My God, you're Gator and Hazel." So that's that malfunction of the Team Malfunction.
I heard you talking about that at the beginning of the show. Yeah. John was. You said John was having issues, and you were like, "Well, do it right." Isn't that why he said kind of like that?
Yeah, I was kind of mean to him. He was like, "Dude," and whenever he dies, I tombstone him. Use tombstone emote.
With the tulips? Nice.
Yeah. And I had that for a whole year before he was able to buy it. He's like, "The minute I get that tombstone, you're getting it every time." And he's true to his word every time I die. So nice. He tombstones me. But we were in a guild together, we were in a clan together called Guardians of COVID. I know.
Wow.
But nobody was playing anymore. And so I must have Irish in me because I won't leave anything. You know, I hate change, but once I do change, I'm there, and then if I have to change again, I hate it. But he left, and he came and found you guys. He'd been listening to the podcast, and he said, "You got to listen to these guys. Gator and Hazel are hilarious. Gator's a great guy. He knows his stuff. Hazel's always picking with him." And he's like, "It sounds just like us." I was like, "No, I'm not coming." As I refused to go. And he just kept pushing. And then finally, he got to the point where he wanted to raid, and he was like, "Dude, would you please come over here?" And I was like, "I'll come over and try it, just in the Discord. But if I hate it, I'm gone. And if people are mean, I'm gone." And
he's like, "You won't find that here. You won't find me."
No, I didn't. Not at all. Didn't find any of that.
They don't
I came over
here.
And it was about 3 days, and I was like, "All right, I'll join." So it was John dragged me, but it took about 6 months. So
it's a wonderful community, and the people who join, and we get people joining every day, and the people who join the community are usually looking to get into games. That seems to be the theme lately. I realize a lot of people are coming back or just starting to play Destiny, and they're looking for people to help them out. But we also, people expect that our community is like an LFG group, and we're obligated to get you into a game. Man, you really got to put yourself out there if you want to get into a game. It's like anything in life. You got to, and I get it. I get it that some people have some social anxieties, but all you got to do is just hang out and just kind of listen, keep your ears open and see how people get along. And you'll probably, this is what happened when I went to Dad's Tales. I didn't know anybody in there, and I'm very introverted. And I just started knowing people just from hearing them, just from watching them talk in the channels, and then I'd finally get the nerve to say something. I was like, hey, or they would reach out and say, hey, I need one to do this. Anybody around? And I'd jump at my chance. I actually jumped in with JC Jesse, who was the head host of Dad Tales podcast. I was actually a Patreon member as well. And I was scared to death to say, hey, yeah, I'll play a game. And I mean, I wasn't terrible, but I wasn't like pro level either, but just sat there and talked with him the whole strike. We're doing a Nightfall, I think, on, it was back when Mars, I think it was against Zol. Yeah, it was the Zol one, I think. And man, I still remember that strike, running that strike. Yeah. I still remember running that strike with him. Away. But all because I just said, you know what? He's looking for someone to play. It's late at night. I'm up late at night anyway. So I jumped in there, and that's the best decision I ever made. So I try to encourage people that when they join the community, I try to say, hey, thanks for stopping by, hang out, see if you gravitate to any players in here, because we're always talking, especially the Destiny talk channels. Usually everyone's talking Destiny in there all the time, all day. And then we have the Destiny LFG, and then we got the activity raid bots where people actually put games together, LFG games.
Yeah, the 100.io stuff.
Yeah. And, you might have to register with the 100.io. It's not that hard. I even have a video in the intro, frequently asked questions channel of our Discord, if they ever want to know how to do that. I put that out a long time ago.
I was resistant to that as well, and John.
I know. A lot of people are. It's why I wanted to mention it tonight, because we'll have people who'll join and then say, well, I couldn't get in any games, and just leave. Well, I want to say, well, did you try to talk to some people? Did you try to say, hey, can I join in? You got one room for one? We can't do it for you. You gotta do it.
Well, I jumped in, and my first real interaction with anybody, I think, was, other than yourself, was with a cat named Trash Panda. And he was like, hey, yeah. He says, right, yeah, I like him. He streams as well.
Yeah.
But he said, I do dungeons. If you need to do any of the dungeons, blah, blah, blah. And so he was just in there talking. He wasn't talking directly to me. But John had signed up for one. And somebody had to drop out, so it was just Panda and John, and they were halfway through it, and they were like, hey, you want me to ask Raza? And he was like, sure, if he wants to come in and finish it. And so I jumped in, not knowing what to expect, and he was hilarious. And so I was like, oh, that's great. Yeah. And so, but then it was like Soccer, Commando, High-Tech Turtle, Allie Kate.
She's great, too. I've read with her.
Rodimus. As a matter of fact, Rodimus, we hit it off so well, because, he's named after a Transformer, right? Rodimus Prime.
Right.
And, we were at a convention, John and I were, and we met the guy who drew the original 1986 Transformers, the movie poster.
Wow.
And he had prints of it, and we had him sign one to Rodimus until all are one. And I got his address and mailed it to him.
That is so cool. See, bringing people together.
Yeah, but like Basic's a great guy. Dorath.
Mm-hmm.
God, well, I already mentioned Geek. There's just a bunch of people I've met. Bell's an amazing guy. He's hilarious.
Bell's full of energy, man.
And Zebrak. I don't know if you've got
Zebrak. Are you kidding me? Every time I play Iron Banner, Zebrak's hanging out. And he usually comes in and plays on PC, and I'm like, dude, are you on PC? Yeah. He goes, yeah, I'm on PC. Of course I'm on PC. I said, can you get on your PS4? Because, man, you're just killing us with these lobbies. We're all console players going up against, mouse and keyboard players. Yeah. You look at the other team, and it's all keyboard symbols. I'm like, oh, no. Don't get close to anybody.
Well, with recent events, I'm probably going to have to start playing on the PS5 some. So I love the PS5 all day.
Yeah, it's a great console. I had I better knock on wood here. I've had no issues with my PS5. I know I've heard some people say there's been a couple of things they've had problems with, but I'm waiting for, they're coming out with a PS Pro sometime soon. I'm guessing the end of this year. I'm ready. I'll retire this one to the living room so I can play it on my big screen. And then, bring my Pro in here.
Retiring, systems. Do you have any of your old systems? I know you're supposed to ask me the question.
No, I do. I got an Xbox 360 Black Edition. I've got a day one Xbox One with the Kinect included. Remember the always on one?
Yes.
I have several. I have one PS3. I have two PS4s. But if you go back any further than that, I'm still kicking myself for getting rid of my PS2 and my PlayStation. Yeah. I might have a PlayStation stored somewhere, a PS1, but man, I haven't cracked those open in a long time.
My wife.
I still wish I kept all my old consoles as a kid.
Same. My wife for Christmas a few years, and this started this opened Pandora's box. But my wife for Christmas a few years found an NES action set boxed.
Wow.
That was mint.
Jeez.
And she bought it. Still had the Hills sticker on it.
Oh my God.
It said $89.99. I was like, it comes with a light gun, Mario Brothers Duck Hunt.
Yep.
And I was like, oh my God, you found it boxed. And she was like, yep. And so I dug around and found some of my old Nintendo games that I'd kept. Bought a pristine copy of Metroid, the original Metroid.
Oh, wow.
And from there, I have went and picked up found a really good deal on a Super Nintendo. But I have all the Nintendo systems, all the portables. Not all the variations of all the portables. That would be ridiculous. Yeah. But I have one of each. I have all the Sega systems from the Master System up to the Tower of Power, Saturn.
Man, I'm jealous right now.
Well, I don't have any games for the Saturn, though, because they're too expensive.
Yeah.
But the Dreamcast, I have Dreamcast. I've got a few games for that.
How often do you go back and play them?
Not as often as I'd like to.
Yeah.
But I have them all on display.
That's nice.
Probably one of my favorite old games is called Miracle Warriors for the Sega Master System. I don't know if you ever played that.
No, I haven't played that one. No, remember, I didn't get Sega.
Oh, that's right.
My parents wouldn't buy Sega or Dreamcast. They were too expensive at the time.
Well, if you get a chance, you should play it. You could probably find an emulator.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. I played Star Fox and all the Nintendo stuff back in the day. Those are fun games.
Star Fox was great.
Yeah, I played a ton of Nintendo games, and Crash Bandicoot was the shit when PlayStation first came out. We played that every night with the fam.
Oddly enough, though, that became their mascot, and now it's owned by Microsoft. And its rumor is that it's coming to Xbox Live. So
I heard about that.
All the old Crash Bandicoot games. I'm like, wow,
that's crazy.
That's still going to be weird.
It is definitely weird because that was pretty much Crash Bandicoot. That avatar pretty much was PlayStation back in the day. Yep. It was the first great game they came out with. Yeah. That was just evergreen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. You did say you main Warlock. That's the right choice. Mm-hmm. Do you, RhasaGhoull, do you do bounties? Well, the ones that aren't in a Pathfinder system.
Yeah. I love the Pale Heart Pathfinder.
Yeah.
I dislike the Ritual
words.
Pathfinder.
I have words.
But yeah, I do bounties.
Good.
They changed the bounty system though, the way it counts. At 100 it stopped. And then it would display, well actually I don't think it displays anymore, but if you go to your screen where it says your season pass, it'll tell you how many of the right engrams or Eververse engrams you got.
Now, I saw that. I'm almost at 100. I'm at like 99 right now. Now, once you hit 100, it does a little green outline go around the engram. Then when it fully encases it, it's when you get your engram. No?
Yeah, and it also counts. Okay, no, it does. And it also counts you've gotten one, and then you've gotten two, and then blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yeah. I like that counter. I like that.
So you can take the number that's there, multiply that by 5, and then add 100, and that's your season rank.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, 500,000. Once you pass, once you pass level 100, it's every 500,000 XP, and that adds up pretty quick.
Yeah.
When you're getting, 2,000 XP for just a repeatable bounty on Cosmodrome, it adds up.
Yeah, but they're expensive though now, because you can't change or trade in your legendary shard. So I hit before the wondrous events of this week. I hit 515, and then I haven't been back to do any more.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I took all last week off. I mean, I was having a grandkid, Or I wasn't.
Oh,
like my
hey,
son did.
congratulations.
Thank you, man. Thank you. First time grandpa. Yeah, it's pretty cool. You've been down that road a few times, so.
Oh, yeah. So what's he calling you? Is it grandpa or?
Grandpa. We get to pick our own names, and I pick grandpa just because, my grandpa was always grandpa, so. But my wife wants to be called Graham. I'm like, what?
Oh.
Graham? Okay. Because he has 2 great grandmothers that are still alive, so.
Well, my grandfathers, and again, telling on myself a little bit, neither one of them were in the picture.
It's too bad.
One, unfortunately, shot himself. But we won't get into that because it's a huge, depressing story.
Sure.
But then the other one was a massive drug dealer.
Oh, that's too bad.
I mean, like running drugs from Arizona to Kentucky.
Oh, boy.
Drug dealer.
Wow.
They wrote a book about it. So he's in the book.
Was that the movie The Mule with?
No, I didn't watch that.
Mule was Clint Eastwood. He played an old guy in an old beat up pickup truck who would run drugs for the cartel.
Huh?
He was an old guy, like in his 80s, that was running.
I didn't get to watch that one.
No one ever suspected him of having drugs because he was just an 80-year-old guy in a beat up old Ford.
Was it good?
Yeah, it was a good movie. It's been out a few years now, but I saw it at the theater. It was pretty good. But yeah, it was very good.
I went with the name Pop Pop. And my wife she was going to be Mamaw, but the boy, my first grandchild, could not say Mamaw. He said Mamu. So now she's Mamu.
Mamu. I love it.
Yeah.
I love those names, man. They're just, when you hear a young kid say it, it's even better. So, because, then you get looks like Mamu. Yeah. Okay.
Well, there's nothing better than my grandbabies coming up and like, Pop, Pop, look what I did with my Legos.
Oh, yeah. Man, that's great.
It's great.
I can't wait for those days. Mine is not even, maybe a week old now. So.
Did you buy him a first toy?
No, I didn't. No,
no.
Believe me, my wife has showered that kid with stuff. I said, honey, you cannot buy any more onesies. Just let them use the onesies because he's going to grow out of them in like 2 months.
He will. But you've got to get the boy
a
stuffed Archie.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
And there's a Bungie sale coming up soon.
Yeah, $7
nice.
Shipping, flat rate shipping. I wish they'd let you combine that shipping because, my God, they're expensive.
The shipping is brutal. Yeah. I bought a lot of stuff from the Bungie store. Yeah, it's brutal.
I just recently bought that not Into the Pale Heart, but the it's in my hand. What's it called? Season of the Wish, Closer to the Heart with Crow and Cade pointing their guns at each other.
Oh, okay.
That thing cost $78 shipped. And when it came in, it was bent.
Oh.
So, yeah, I contacted Bungie. They were good about it, though.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Was like, look, this is bent.
Yeah.
Can you send me another one? They were like, no, we're out of them. We'll just refund you. You can keep it. I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
So
try to put it into a vise and see if you can slowly bend it back into place. Maybe without scratching.
I got it for free. It's just bent.
Yeah. You can. There's a story behind it, right?
Yeah.
What's one weapon in your vault that you refuse to delete and why?
Oh gosh, what is the name of that dumb thing? I'm gonna have to.
You can look up Dim if you need to.
I'm pulling up Dim right now.
I always have Dim open.
I definitely have to cheat. To do that, I'm on mouse and keyboard because I like to mess up console players' lobbies.
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
I know. That's a nod to Z-Brack.
Ghost Primus.
Oh, auto rifle from Leviathan.
Yes,
I love it. That was a great auto rifle. I did not keep that one, but I kept the inaugural address, the pulse rifle version.
I got it also.
I love that pulse rifle.
I have all of those dumb Leviathan weapons because they were just. You got beautiful. Those, and you felt like a king, man.
They're beautiful, and they had very good recoil. They just felt good.
And you would run around the tower, and people were like, "Oh, where did you get that? Oh my gosh!" I was like, "It's from the raid."
On it. Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty cool. And they came stock like a white color. It was really, it was definitely unique. That's for sure. But the only problem is that even though they're not sunset anymore, they have such limited perks on them. I think I have a good roll. It's a kill clip and, I guess they only came one way, right? I think it was,
no, this one's high impact reserves and vicious assassin.
All right. Now I gotta
and under pressure or, under pressure.
I gotta look now. My inaugural address, I believe I can picture it, but let me just pull it up. Just make sure. Yeah, that's what I thought. Outlaw Kill Clip, which was, it still will hold its own. You know, it's a 390 adaptive. It's not a god tier PvP rifle, but it's a void pulse rifle. So,
yep.
Can't beat it. Speaking of which, what activities do you prefer to do the most or enjoy in the game?
Oh, well, if I'm just going to piddle around and have fun, like I'm not trying to accomplish anything, it's Gambit.
Okay.
I love going into Gambit, and I love invading, and every time you kill everybody, one of my favorite lines from Drifter is he'll go, I'm sorry, were they saying something? Because they're dead now. Like, that's great.
Yeah.
I told you, he's such a hick.
That's surprising, man. I didn't picture you as a Gambit guy. Nice.
Oh, no, I love Gambit.
All right, good.
And bounties, you know.
Oh, of course. Well, we used to be able to. I've got words on the Pathfinder, and I've got actually a Destiny Help Desk episode coming out in a few days where I talk about it. So I'll reserve my comments for that show. But if Bungie assigned you a small but versatile dev team to use as you wish, what would you work on in Destiny 2 for the future?
Oh, gosh. Well, I'd put more Gambit maps in. As everybody's like,
of course,
we hate Gambit because Gambit's stale.
Reinvest in it.
Yeah. It's like, why don't you put something into it? They finally brought the Dreaming City map back, which was good.
Yeah.
Also, that's hilarious to play right now because no one knows where to hide on the Dreaming City map. So you're just going to get Army 1s all day long when you get that map.
Oh, okay. Don't worry.
Nobody knows what to do.
Well, the player base is very broad right now. Everyone's trying everything, especially when you got to do a Gambit match to get through to unblock a node on the Pathfinder activity.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I don't like it either.
I got stuck trying to get my pinnacles. Mm-hmm. Incidentally, they're given pinnacles, and it doesn't say pinnacles. It says
says Prime Engram.
Yeah.
Oh, those are pinnacles?
Actually, I don't know if it says Prime Engram, but yeah, they were.
Yeah, I was just playing today. It said Prime Engram. Yeah.
Yeah, but they drop as pinnacles.
Whoa, so good to know.
I kept getting stuck by going to Crucible and kill 10 people with like hand cannons or something. I was like, I don't want to do that.
See, there's a problem with that, and I hope they tweak it. But like I said, I'll reserve my comments on that until that Destiny Help Desk episode comes out because I have a lot to say about it, and I don't want to repeat myself here. But I had a question. We talked about how I didn't, but I'm going to mention it now that you like to stream. And you do some video production as well. I had a question from a member of the community this week. He was asking me, he says, if you had a choice, because he's kind of at a fork in the road where he doesn't know what he wants to do. And, he has 4 kids. He's busy and he's a dad. Oh, wow. And he's trying to figure out, would you rather do video creation or should I do streaming? And I wanted to pose that question to you. If you had the choice, would you do streaming only? If you only could choose one, would it be video creation or streaming?
If you could only choose one, I'd do streaming, and then just, if you're using OBS or whatever you're using, just record your stuff and just keep it. And then later, if you want to go back and do video creation, you've got it for later.
Yeah. Store that B-roll. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, I gave him the best advice I could. I gave him honest advice. I said, listen, you have to ask yourself, do you like playing and talking with people, or are you more antisocial and like to delve into putting projects together? Because streaming and video creation are total opposites of each other. Streaming, it's all about always on, always playing, always talking to your community that jumps in to watch you play. And that's funny. I mentioned that. I jumped into one of your streams, your live notifications came up, and I said, you know what? I've never, only Gramps Gaming. I said, I don't think I've ever jumped in his stream. I'm going to jump in his stream. I think it was when you were doing, actually, I was doing the Into the Light stuff, the Onslaught stuff. And I said, I'm just mowing stuff down here. I said, let's jump in the stream. And I think you had your earphones off or something. And I jumped in the chat and I said, hey, what's up? And you had your camera panned on your face, I think, and not on the game or something like that. And you went, oh, shit, I got my camera stuck on me. Kind of got you off guard. But, I just wanted to call you out on that. That was funny. But I think everybody goes through that.
Yeah, I've also had a couple instances where I go to like in stream, and then I'll go raid someone because she shared love. And I'll go to raid someone, and I'll forget to end my stream, and like 3 hours later, I'm like, son of a gun.
It's still going.
Yeah, it's just like 3 hours of a Destiny 2 ending screen that I sent.
Oh, no. Jeez.
Yeah. And you'll have messages in there's like, hey, man, you left your stream running again. I'm like, dang it, because it's not the first time.
I've done that too. And streaming is fun, but it takes a lot more energy for me. I have to really be up for it. I like video creation, but video creation is just the opposite. You're literally staring at clips and writing scripts and doing a lot of stuff in the background and then putting it all together and then pushing your baby out there for people to see. It's the very opposite of streaming. It's you're pretty much in a dark place somewhere looking at screens for hours and hours and splicing stuff together and putting transitions in and effects and all this stuff. And I just told him, I said, listen, if you like, being by yourself and putting stuff together, not talking with anybody, video creation is the way to go. But if you really like the community and you like talking to people and you like being around people and you game, streaming is definitely where you want to head. So.
Yeah, I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Mr. Monkey. You're listening to Guardian Downcast.
Well, before we get to our signature questions tonight, I was going to catch up and see what we've been doing this week in Destiny and in life. And before I start rambling about stuff, I heard you had a little bit of an adventure this week.
Yeah, you could say that. I was sitting at the desk, and it was probably early Wednesday morning, like 2 o'clock in the morning. I was finishing bounties, and I'm telling myself I logged in John's account on the PlayStation because he just lives like 20 minutes from me, so I do that occasionally. And he was high enough season rank I could get the 8% from turning in the bounties.
Good deal, yeah.
So, and he'll probably listen to this and be like, what the crap? So, but, surprise! You left yourself logged in on my PlayStation. What do you want?
Jeez.
Told you we give each other crap. Great.
I like it.
But I logged him in and I turned in my bounties and I got up from my desk, turned everything off, got up, went to go to sleep, and there's 3 steps. It goes down from my office, and I took 3 steps down, and when I hit the 3rd step, my chest just started burning really bad, and I couldn't catch my breath, and I doubled over for like 40 seconds, and then it just completely went away. And so I went over and I got my blood pressure and heart monitor, and I hooked it up, took my blood pressure, and it was 155/95, which is stupid high for me.
That's pretty elevated.
Yeah, it's what's normally like 111/71.
Wow.
I generally have low blood pressure, but it just spiked. And I was like, what the crap? But it went away, and I was like, I'm going to bed. So I went to sleep, and I got up I ate like 4 Oreos and a glass of milk, and then I went to sleep, which was bad. But I get up the next day, and I go walk into the office because I'm going to stream. I wanted to walk up the stairs, and it hit me again, and I couldn't even get up the 3 stairs. I was like, well, I'm not streaming today. So I think I went in here and canceled it. But I don't remember much that happened after that. But my wife came into the bedroom, and she said, you're gasping for air. We're going to the hospital. So I just went back to sleep. So we get up and we go to the hospital. I'm like, this is a waste of time. And I'm driving. I was like, it's a waste of time. They're just going to go in there and tell me I have pneumonia or something. And so we go into the emergency room, and I tell them what's going on. They're like, immediate triage, because, if you come in presenting with chest pains and shortness of breath, they think you're having a heart attack.
Precautions.
Yeah. So they threw me into a triage room, and they hooked me up to an EKG, and they drew some blood, and they were like, well, you're not having a heart attack right now, but your breath doesn't sound right. So go sit in the waiting room. And we were in there for 2 hours, and they came back and they said, your cardiac enzymes are up. You're being admitted. We got to find out what's going on. I was like, oh, great. And so they gave me an x-ray, and on the x-ray they said they saw something, and so they wanted to do a CT scan. So they admitted me. They did a CT scan, and they said they found bilateral blood clots in my lungs. It was like 16 of them.
Wow.
And they don't know where they came from. They found out later they were coming from my leg. And they said they'd just been migrating to my chest. And so cardiologist came in and spoke to us and said the right side of my heart was thicker, and it was bigger because it had been compensating probably since February, because we did some history. In February, I had a really bad sinus infection. They gave me a Z-Pack, and I don't recommend those. It knocked me on my butt for about 2 weeks. And the cardiologist was like, well, that's what happened. His name's Dr. Kumar. He's like, that's what's happened. He said, do you exercise? And I was like, yeah, I walk my dog every day, but I decided to stop doing it around April because I just didn't feel like it. I felt like I was out of shape. And he said, you've probably started clots from then. He said, once they start, you have that spot. It just keeps creating them. And he said, 1 in 2 people don't survive what you've got.
Wow.
They just drop.
Oh my God.
And so that was a wake up call. I was like, oh my God. And he said, I told him I drove there, and he was like, well, that's astounding. I don't understand how you did that. I was like, I just got in the car and drove. And he was asking me what kind of exerting activities I'd been doing other than, marital things.
Sure.
I told him I built a gazebo, and he was like, with this condition, you were out in the sun building a gazebo. And I was like, yeah. He's like, how are you alive? He asked me that. How are you alive? I was like, I don't know. You're the doctor.
Wow.
So they pumped me full of blood thinners and put me on a heparin drip. I was in the hospital for 2 days. Well, it's actually a day and a half. And they came back and they said they were coming from your knee. So it's my right knee. It's actually behind my right knee. And they said, we've got to get you on these blood thinners and go from there. And then they told me I was diabetic. I was like, oh, well, how about that? So lifestyle change, switched to zero sugar soda stuff, which oddly enough, it tastes pretty good.
Oh, I've been on that forever with Splenda. Or Coke Zero for me. Coke Zero for me.
Yeah, Coke Zero, Baja Blast Zero, L8 Zero. L8's a local drink, but it's like a ginger ale. Mm-hmm. But it was a huge wake-up call, man, because, I just... my whole life I've been able to just eat whatever I want. I'm 6'4". Well, that's not true anymore. I'm 6'3". I shrank.
We all shrink.
Yeah. And I'm 192 pounds, so I'm not overweight.
No, that's a good weight.
But he said my pulse ox was great. He said my oxygen is fine. He said he doesn't understand it because of all the stuff that's there. But he said, we're going to send you home with thinners. We don't think we need to do a cath. And so he said, but you're going to take these, I can't remember what it's called. I took one just for the show, though. Mm-hmm. So it actually makes your chest feel a little bit better.
That's good.
Yeah. But yeah, I by the grace of God, I'm home. I'm alive. I didn't die. And he just come right out and said, 1 out of 2 people don't make it. That just, you just where you're at right now. And he said, you've had these since February. And your heart has compensated until it couldn't anymore.
Let me ask you something.
And so that's why the enzymes were released.
Did you ever feel any pain in your legs or knees or anything?
No, nothing.
No? Really?
The whole time, because they're saying I've got, type 2 diabetic. Mm-hmm. And he said, do your toes, toes go numb? Do you have any swelling in your ankles? Do you have bathroom issues? We'll leave it at that because it's a little gross. Mm-hmm. And I was like, no, nothing like that. He's got any problems with your eyes? No. And it's just because when they first told me, I was like, no, I don't have that, because I didn't believe it. And he's like, no, you definitely have it. So it was just a huge wake up call. But the only real change I think I'll have to make is just, not eating, candy's going to be easy. Just, I don't need that anymore. The soda's already taken care of. And my son was happy to, because he lives with us again. He was happy to oblige me when I said, you can drink all this soda. He's like, yay. So
he'll be gone tomorrow.
Have to buy his own. Oh, no, there's tons of it. So every time Kroger has a sale, I'm there buying it.
Man, that's another thing that went up in price.
Yeah.
I thought about buying a 12-pack, is it a 12-pack still, of Diet Coke or something, and it's like $12. I said, what happened to the $4.99 days?
Yeah.
$12 for 12 sodas?
Yeah, it's
what the hell?
It's insane. Everything has gone up. You'll get me on a soapbox, though.
Yeah, me too, man. Yeah, I have when I was going through my midlife, was getting panic attacks. I was like checking my heart rate at night. I had a stupid cheap blood pressure machine at home and it was reading irregular and it just sent me down a wormhole and I couldn't get out of it. And finally I got a CAT scan. I got everything checked out, everything I could. Found out I had diverticulosis, they call it.
Yeah.
It's hereditary because my uncle has it. My mom has it. My mom's family just has it, but not to get too down the rabbit hole here, but yeah, it just sucks getting old, dude. It just sucks getting old. I'm just curious if the clots were caused from sitting and gaming. Because I catch myself gaming for 4 hours some nights without ever getting up, playing Iron Banner or something, And
oh no, I'm constantly I'm acutely aware of what to look for with diabetes. My aunt, she passed just last May. She passed in May.
I'm sorry.
And wonderful woman. And she died because she would not take care of herself and she had diabetes. And so I knew what to look out for. It just, none of it was happening. And so, like I said, again, when they told me that, I was like, nah, this can't be true. But it'll sneak up on you, man.
Believe me. I get checks every 6 months with my doctor. And even sooner because I'm now on ADHD medicine. So they're checking me like all the time, it seems. I'm getting blood tests all the time. But I like that because my doctor's very proactive because if anything does start to happen, he's Johnny on the spot. And I've gotten all the glucose tests every time. And so far, so good. My sugar's been okay. But I sure as hell don't do anything to prevent it because I love candy. And I've been cutting back on that too. I love the sweet stuff, man. Oh God.
Oh yeah.
June was birthday months and, it was cake time. That's my one time of the year I just indulge in cake. And of course I feel like shit afterwards, but it's like, ignorance is bliss, like on the Matrix. But,
right. I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah. Ignorance is, I know this isn't really steak, but you know what?
Matrix is telling me it's thick and juicy.
Yeah. And ignorance is bliss.
Yep.
Yeah.
You said Johnny on the spot and I thought I was the only person that said that. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. It's I'm kind of a good old boy too, where I live, in a suburb of Orlando. It's a kind of a hick town. So I grew up around that 4-wheel drives and I wore boots to school, cowboy boots, and I went through all that stuff. But I also wore parachute pants to school. So I was I did all kinds of things as a kid. I tried everything. I just wanted to be the popular kid, but
can you say can't touch this?
Oh yeah, I know. Definitely. So have you had any time to play any Destiny this week?
Well, like I said, I was doing bounties Tuesday and Wednesday.
Right.
And then when I got home last night, I was restless and I was short of breath. I'm actually feeling all right now, which is amazing. Good. I've not been, really winded or anything. And I have stood up a couple times while we've been doing this.
Good.
So yeah, it's those thinners are working. Okay. I went into Discord and I messaged Geek privately and I was like, hey, you want to do some GMs or something? I don't want to go to bed. And I feel like I haven't been with my gaming wife, Destiny.
Yeah.
For a few days. And so he's like, yeah, I'm up for some GMs. And I called John. I was like, get on, we're doing GMs. He's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, John had a lot of good things to say about you too. When I interviewed him on Destiny Help Desk, he said that he was totally lost when he played this game and that you brought him in under your wing and taught him how to do everything.
He was so bad. He's like, what's these little crystals that are on the ground? It's like, that's Glimmer. What do you do with it? You spend it.
It's money, baby.
What are these shards I keep getting? Those are legendary shards. What do you do with them? Oh my God. And then he, little funny story about him. He's probably going to kill me, but we were playing with that other clan before we came over here, and we were doing King's Fall, and we were at the last encounter with Oryx, and somebody had to leave, and so and these guys weren't the greatest, but I liked playing with them and I still play with some of them because they're friends, and that's kind of the whole story behind Team Malfunction. We don't care if we stink. We're going to do it. That's like we did a raid with John trying to get him his second week Pantheon. Mm-hmm. We were in there 8 hours.
Wow.
But we got it for him. And just a quick shout out to Zebrak. We were on, I can't remember his name now, the guy from Deep Stone Crypt that you go up in space. I can't think of his name.
Oh, Tannix.
Yeah, we were on Tannix, and we had him down to nothing. Like, you blow on him and he's dead.
Yes.
And 5 of us died.
Yes, I've been through those.
Zebrak was the only person alive. He was like, oh, dear God. He's like, you're all dead. And he killed him. And we were instantly alive. We were like, oh, my God, Zebrak.
That's how you do it, man.
Yeah, I clipped that thing.
Nice.
So,
yeah, Z's a good guy. He's always been, I've never had him on the show. Maybe I need to have him on the show.
Oh, you need to. Yeah, he's a great guy.
All these years I've known him, I've never had him on the show. Might need to ask him, see if he wants to be on it.
He does 3D printing.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I think I had a prior guest who did it also. Mr. Brightside, I think. Yeah, he does 3D printing as well. We talked about it on the show. Yeah, that was probably 10 episodes ago, 10 or 12 episodes ago. Yeah. It's a good deal.
We were in Kingsville, though, and John was like, well, I'll come help.
Yeah.
We were like, John, listen.
That's what everybody tells me when I want to join.
No. He was completely underleveled.
Oh, he told me that story. He told me that story.
It's so bad.
He said, just stay alive, man. Just stay alive. We run out of tokens. He couldn't
do anything. He was like shooting stuff, and it was like...
It was question mark.
Two full clips to get rid of one red bar. I was like, dude, just hide. But then he kept getting taken. And he was like, what do I do? And he would die.
That sucks.
And then he would step in the bomb, and he'd set the bomb off, and he'd die. Or an ogre would one-shot him, and he'd die. I was like, dude. He was like, why can't I do this? It's like, because you're not powerful enough, and you stink. God. You don't know what you're doing yet. And he was like, I don't stink. I was like, well, right now. Wow. So I wasn't being mean. It was just, that's how we talk to each other.
I get it.
We're real life friends, and he'll, as a matter of fact, he's having fun yelling at me. Nicely yelling at me over, listen, stupid, you can't eat sugar anymore. And it's like, okay.
Yeah, I know. I have a feeling my lifestyle is going to have to change soon, too. I've got buddies of mine who are getting hip replacements and have diabetic or type 2 as well. And he almost had to amputate his foot. I'm like, dude, no way I'm heading down that path. Nope.
No. Lifestyle changes.
I'll eat lettuce every day, all day.
Well, I like salads, but that day before I went into the hospital, remember that Wednesday when I went back to sleep?
Right.
Before I went to sleep, and I'm telling on myself, so everybody can poke fun at me if they want to and tell me I'm an idiot, and it's fine, because I will agree with you. But I ate a bag of Chewy Sprees. Those are delicious.
Yes.
And a peach L8. So sugar on top of sugar, and let me wash it down with this sugar.
Yeah. I'm in there.
And so I went into the hospital, and when they first checked me, it was like, triglycerides like 479.
Ooh, that's high. That's high.
Yeah. They were pooping their pants.
Yeah.
I was like, well, this is what I had. And they all looked at me like, you're stupid. Why would you do that? It's like, apparently I'm stupid.
Because it's dopamine, baby, and it tastes good.
Yeah.
I hear you.
But, it's a wake-up call, though, man. So
I hear you, man.
I don't mean to get on the...
No. I'm glad you talked about it. I didn't know if you wanted to share that tonight or not, but, on a lighter note, I did play Iron Banner this week. I played with the community, the usual Thursday night crew. I think Zebrak was in there as well. Claws of the Wolf, man. The rapid fire pulse rifle is back. I got a Headseeker kill clip roll with, and I got the 98 recoil. I got the really good, barrel.
Nice.
Arrowhead break. So it's a dart, but I'm looking for a, Headseeker Zen moment roll. That's the one I really want because it's all about that, stability and less flinch, as you're shooting people in the 1v1.
Right. So
it still doesn't feel as good as, Outbreak Perfected, but it's a nice void pulse rifle. I definitely want to, this is definitely worth me grinding for, So.
Have you tried Kostov?
Oh yeah. But I actually tried it and I was loving it. I went through all all that mission was brutal. I got everything from the Pale Heart. I got everything done. And then I didn't play any Crucible that week and then it got nerfed and I still think it's pretty strong. You can tell the recoil. Yeah, the recoil's a little bouncier. It's not quite the shot pattern isn't quite as tight, but if you're a good shot with any weapons in Destiny, you can definitely still have success with it. But yeah, I played Tuesday at Reset. I played Thursday night again, some late night. I did finish the Echoes Act 1 episodic content. Did you do that? Did you finish that Echoes? No?
No, I did.
Oh.
And that part with, see, this is a bone I have to pick with Bungie. And maybe they listen to this and they'll hear this, but it's like with Sloane when she was part taken and they had a perfect opportunity to turn her into a really powerful, strong female villain.
Yeah.
And it would be Boss. But no, they backed away from it. I'm just like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
And then with Eris, they had the same opportunity, and they backed off of it.
Yep.
I'm like, come on. Now you've got Saint.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, come on.
Yep.
Daddy needs a new villain.
Yep.
And I don't know if they're going to do anything with it. It's getting old.
Saint's an innocent victim. He's realizing
I know, that's what would make it, though.
Yeah, he's realizing he's a copy of a copy, and he doesn't think he's the original Saint. And of course, I love Ikora comes in and goes, "It's going to be okay." I'm like, "Oh, thanks, Ikora." Now he feels better.
Now, one of the best moments in Destiny 2 that I have seen, and other than pre-final shape, was Season of the Haunted, and Zavala's going through his nightmares about his wife.
Yep.
And at the end of you killing Callus, you get rid of Callus for a little bit, and Zavala falls to his knees, and he's just sitting there, and he's like, "Why?" And and he's obviously super emotional, and Keitel just comes up and puts her hand on his shoulder and pats him,
mm-hmm.
and I was just like, that is powerful.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, just because it's Keitel and Zavala, I was like, dang. So
Destiny has its moments.
Yeah.
But me and Hazel used to talk about this all the time. I really wish that Destiny would become more than just a T-rated game. It'd be nice if it became a mature game. Let's face it, most of the people who play it are, well, I'm generalizing, but there's a lot of older players that are definitely not teenagers that play Destiny. And,
right.
In fact, some of the gaming community calls the Crucible the Destiny's the retirement home of shooters. I don't care. Say what they will. I love playing Crucible.
The retirement home of shooters.
The retirement home of shooters, because we can't hang, I guess, in Call of Duty and who saw who first.
Well, it's all those young kids with those twitchy little reflexes.
Oh, of course, doing the claw and all that stuff. I know. I was just watching a 30 for 30 on the FaZe Clan, the ups and downs of the FaZe Clan. Man, these kids were just didn't know how to handle all this fame. They were like Hollywood famous. And if you ever want to see 30 for 30 from ESPN, they just did the latest story was on the FaZe Clan. It was really good. I was just watching it this week. But yeah, pretty much Iron Banner. I finished Echoes right before Iron Banner reset. And I'm curious. They are going to have a live stream coming up soon. I'll mention that. Actually. Yeah, I'll mention that in the TWAB. And but I did see some shows and movies. Shh. Movie review. So I did watch the 6th episode of Acolyte. I don't know what to think about this story, this Star Wars series. I'm a little mixed on it. You
don't want my opinion on that.
I'm not a purist. I mean, I'm really not a Star Wars canon guy. I didn't really read the comics. I really am not into the anime series. I'm really never gotten into that part of it. I'm just like the movies and these series they spit out. But they have taken, and I'll be as polite and politically correct as possible. They took everything that Kathleen Kennedy had been spewing out. Yes.
About how the Force is female, and you're just going to have to enjoy it. And if you don't like it, you're a
hater
or a bigot or whatever word they're going to throw at you, because the storytelling is bad. And look, it's just bad. It's
definitely. I agree. It has some issues, and it's just real thin. And the episodes are so short. It's like, what did we watch tonight? What really happened?
Mandalorian, when they started the Mandalorian?
Of course.
Fantastic.
Yes.
And the end of season 2, where, spoiler alert, Luke Skywalker shows up, you're like, oh my. Yeah. I mean, you're wetting yourself.
It's like full Luke.
Heck yeah.
And I even liked Ahsoka. I thought Ahsoka was good. Seeing all the Darth Lords, that you don't hear about or see in the regular movies. I thought that was good.
Admiral Thrawn from the Timothy Zahn book.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what they should have done. Was the Timothy Zahn book.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm going to watch it through because I've already invested my monthly into
it's
Disney
like
Plus.
watching The Flash on WB, right? It gets so ridiculous. You're like, well, I've spent this much time. I might as well finish it. Yep. And then you hate yourself for watching it. So.
I did see season 2 of House of Dragons, the 3rd episode. I'm enjoying it. It's a little more dialogue than I'm used to. And it's just a slow burn of a season, and maybe that's what they intended to do, but I'm just waiting and seeing on this. I mean, this is going to be a slow burn, and it's going to be for a majority of the summer. HBO Max, they're going to stretch it out. It's their baby for the summer.
Never watched it. I watched Game of Thrones.
Yep.
And I loved it. And then at the end, they were like, "The Night King. Oh yeah, we stabbed him anyway."
Yeah, the ending
like,
was
what
suspect.
The crap?
Yeah, I think they ran out of time. I didn't run out of time. I think they were just ready for it to be done.
Well, Martin says that the book will not end the same way as the HBO series, so I hope that's true.
Hey, HBO gave them all the time in the world. Says, you need another season? You need another 6 episodes?
I know,
right? We'll do it. We're making bank right now, you know?
The 2 guys that were running it were like, we can't do it. We got to go do our Star Wars movie.
Yep.
And then they went over to do their Star Wars movie that Kathleen Kennedy pushed.
Yep.
And it got canceled. I'm like, well, what'd that get you?
Yeah.
Nothing.
See, I don't care where the characters are from or if they're male or female. I just want a good story. Just give me good stories.
Exactly.
Give me good stories.
But you can't say that because then you hate everybody.
I don't know.
Whatever.
I know that's just the way I feel. I did see the Quiet Place Day 1 in the Dolby Atmos Theater, which
I want to see that.
It was really cool. They have, of course, the rumble seats, and when you're watching an alien-based movie, I mean, it really is. Yeah. It really keeps you awake.
Now, see, that would be something to put into something like that would be Aliens with Sigourney Weaver.
Oh, it's coming. It's called Romulus.
And there you go. That's a...
Yep.
Oh!
Yeah, Romulus is coming in August. Yeah, that's one of my movies on my list.
There's an Aliens movie coming out called Romulus.
Yep, that's it. It's, not the same characters. It's all new characters, but it's the same people behind it. But,
I wonder how they're getting away with that. Seeing as Romulus is where the
Ridley Scott's back. It'll be good. It'll be good.
Ridley Scott's back too.
Yeah, it'll be good. I will say though, just to give you my opinion on this movie, it starts off like a regular day in the life, and just all hell breaks loose. It was very gripping. I was on the edge of my seat. No naps on this one, folks. Nice. Ending was very good, and I must say it was very satisfying into the movie. Rotten Tomatoes had this at 87% certified fresh from critics, 73% from audience. I think the audience score was lower than I expected. I'd give this one 4 stars. It was a very good movie. I'll remember this one, but it's a must-watch. It's a very mild sci-fi horror. It's not as bad as Alien, but very suspenseful, so definitely want to watch this one. And I also saw the new Kevin Costner Western that he self-funded and wrote called Horizon: An American Saga Chapter 1.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one.
I went with my parents to see this one, and I really had high expectations for it. You know, the Yellowstone series has been really good on streaming services, 1883 being my all-time favorite, with Faith Hill, Tim McGraw, Sam Elliott, I believe.
That's such a sad ending, though.
It was a sad ending, but you know what, though? I really felt for the characters in that movie. But this movie was based on the same timeline, about the 1880s. It's the exploration of the West, you know, the wagon trails, all the strife and stuff that goes with it. Rotten Tomatoes has this one at 46% critics, 71% audience. Man, I really wanted to like this film, but I really got to be honest with you here. This movie was all over the place. The thing I love about these Western series is that you get to know the main characters. You feel their pain, their struggle. Mm-hmm. Costner was throwing so many scenarios at you at once. I couldn't even keep up with. Kept looking over at my wife. I'm like, now who's this guy? And you didn't know who was who. It's like he was cramming all this stuff into 3 hours. 3 hours, by the way.
Oh, wow.
And I see what he was trying to do. He's trying to set the canvas, because he has 3 more chapters of movies after this one. Yeah. He's got chapter 2's coming out in August.
James Cameron in it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And he's got chapter 3 and chapter 4 coming out sometime next year. I know what he was trying to do. He was trying to build on these 3 different fronts, these 3 different wagon trails that were crossing the West. But, man, the stories are really bad. They're very poorly written. You know what it felt like? It felt like the old Star Wars scripts. You know, they kind of had little meaning, no feeling. Just like noisy dialogue, and I just didn't give a shit about it. I didn't give a shit about any of the characters in this movie. I was trying to get to know a character, and then wham, he was moving on to another scenario. It was just, would just jerk the audience around so many times on different locations. They would even go to different narratives in mid-movie, go to different narratives, and I'm like, who is speaking right now? It was just really messy screenwriting, in my opinion, and I just felt frustrated out of walking out of the theater. I was wondering, what did I just spend 3 hours watching? Man, I got to side with the critics on this one. 2.5 stars, not great, and sure as hell is not going to be memorable. Like I said, Chapter 2 comes out in August, and I feel that Costner is going to get an ego check after getting a 10-minute standing ovation at Cannes. You got a 10-minute standing ovation at Cannes in France. The film festival?
Pull it together. with the second and third.
I don't know, man. It's funny. At the end of the movie, he has like it's, you know how at the end of a season they kind of give you a flash forward of what's coming in the next season on a TV series. Mm-hmm. It felt like that, man. He had a bunch of flash forwards about different scenes in the movies. And I kept looking over at my wife and my parents. I'm like, this feels like a TV series. This doesn't feel like a movie. But it just,
funny thing about that was originally supposed to be a miniseries.
Yeah, of course it was.
Not films.
Well, from what I heard, Kevin Costner has a bit of an ego. People love him, including myself. I love all of his movies.
Yeah, I love him. And
he didn't agree with Taylor Sheridan about how the Yellowstone series was going forward, and I think he just said, "Hell with it! I'm a big enough guy. I'm going to do my own story."
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I think he's going to get a big ego check. This is going to be a big, painful ego check. I mean, he got a 10-minute standing ovation at Cannes Film Festival. I thought, man, a 10-minute standing ovation, really?
Didn't deserve it.
I don't know why people were clapping for 10 minutes straight, other than just the fact that he was there, and it was all just, service to him. But I tell you what, though, this is an example of a movie that should have had much better writers, should have had more character arc. And I'll tell you why good reading and character arc works well, because I just finished season 3 of The Bear tonight before I got on the show. The Bear. It's on Hulu. It's about the owning and running a high-end restaurant. It's all the back end, and it's all of everything that goes on in running a restaurant. All the stress, all the panic, all the expense, everything. And it makes you really feel for these little bistros and really high-end restaurants that are independently run. And what's funny is each episode was about 30 to 40 minutes. And they would focus on one very minute thing in the overall story of the characters involved, which all the characters by now at season 3. Just so beautifully written. A lot of loose ends still need to be tied up, and it's in a continue thing. They tell you to be continued at the end of the last episode, spoiler alert, which is frustrating as hell. And I was immediately asking my wife, when do they say it's coming out? They said they're filming it or have most of it filmed. So I don't know when season 4 is coming out, but they definitely achieved what they were supposed to do there. They got me on the edge of my seat wanting to know what's going to happen. So that's an example of how a TV series is done right.
Mm-hmm.
But the last movie I did see on July 3rd, right before the July 4th week, is Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F. And before I tell you what I think, I really applaud that the writers and directors and producers included all of the old original characters from the movie from the 80s. Taggart, Surge, Billy.
Oh, nice.
All back. And of course, they're much older now, and they definitely looked rougher, but I was so impressed that they brought all the original members back. And of course, the ageless Eddie Murphy still looks like he did back in the 80s. It's just annoying. Whenever you watch a Beverly Hills Cop movie, you can't expect the writing to be anything new. So I kind of base my score on this film on like entertainment value.
Right.
Did it keep me?
Flick?
Yeah. Did it keep me interested? Was I entertained for the time I spent with it? The story's the same. Someone's in trouble, and Axel flies to Beverly Hills from Detroit. Yada yada yada. And looking over, the average recycled script that they used, Eddie Murphy was very charming and funny as usual, and just the nostalgia trip alone was worth it. It was worth my hour and 40 minutes, I think it was. I was entertained, but it was unfortunately very forgettable movie. I wouldn't have paid for a movie ticket on this one. Well, I don't anyway, because I use AMC Stubbs A-List. But regardless, I gave it 3 stars. It was okay. Enough said.
Mm-hmm.
I have a couple movies I do plan on watching very soon. On July 19th, Twisters, the Twister remake is coming out.
Yeah.
That's going to be good.
It's a sequel, right? It's a sequel?
Yeah, it's a sequel, maybe. I think it feels like a remake to me because it's all new characters.
It's their kids.
In stories. Is it their kids?
Yeah.
Holy shit, then it is a sequel. My bad. I never picked that up from
I'm
these.
looking forward to that one.
Yeah, I never picked that up from the
From the trailers?
From the trailers, I never picked that up.
Yeah. Now, if I end up being wrong, and it is a remake, then I've just misheard them. But.
Oh, well. Either way, I think it'll be an entertaining movie. And of course, Deadpool and Wolverine, July 26th. Right. I may see an independent movie in between that, and I'll let you know if I do in future shows. But
you're going to see Trap?
Yeah, I'm going to see the new M. Night. Yeah, I'm going to see that one. I did not see The Watchers. That was his daughter. Made a kind of a mild horror film, and I did not see that one.
Started to watch that. And after about 15 minutes, I was like, my God, this is so boring. I turned it off.
It got really bad reviews. I mean, it's her first film, I believe. So,
well, I mean, he made some stinkers. Avatar.
Oh, of course. Well, not Avatar. You mean?
Oh, no. Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh, okay. You're going back that far. Okay.
Yeah, M. Night did that.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah. There was one, The Cabin. Knock at the Cabin?
Knock at the Cabin. That was fantastic.
I thought that was a good movie. I thought that was good. I thought that was a little bit of a comeback for M. Night. Yeah.
Yeah, that had a lot of representation in it.
It was
and I didn't mind it at all. It was done well. It was done normally. It wasn't pushed. It was just what's the word I'm looking for?
He just has a unique view on stuff, man. Yeah.
The movie was great.
I thought it was good.
It was I think it was based off of a book. And so I read that the book was different, that the world actually ends. So.
Oh, it does. Okay.
Yeah.
Because he did the right thing at the end, but I guess it was too late.
It's kind of like Little Shop of Horrors, where the original ending was the plants eat everybody and they take over the world.
Gotcha. And it's not a musical. Yeah.
Yeah. And you're just like, what in the world?
Yeah. Oh, Fly Me to the Moon. I'll be seeing that one as well. That's
Fly Me to the Moon. What is that about?
It's about how they fake the moon missions, or they had it as a backup. It's a period piece. It's a 60s genre movie, and my God, I'm just gonna go nuts.
Right, see, so now I have to ask: do you think they faked the moon missions?
I don't think so. No, but they I guess they give it's kind of a what if movie. What if they actually filmed a fake mission, because everything, there was so much pressure on getting out there before the Russians did. It was the arms race back then, so I don't know. I'm interested in seeing it though. Who played Black Widow? Scarlett Johansson's
Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, and I cannot remember this other guy. He played in Magic Mike.
Channing Tatum.
Channing Tatum, and
God, I can't believe I know he was in Magic Mike. Good Lord.
I never watched the movie, but I remember him in the trailers. Don't worry, I'll edit that out. I won't tell anybody.
You're not going to edit that out.
I'm not going to edit that out. No. Good deal, man. Well, that's what I've been doing in a nutshell this week. But before we head to the
You've had a better week than I have.
Well, apparently, yes. Feel for you, man. That had to be scary as shit.
Look, I'm alive. Like I said, thank God.
Yeah.
Thank Jesus. Yeah. I'm alive. I'm not dead. And I'm very happy about that.
Yeah.
So, something. And this isn't the first time, been bit by a brown recluse on the back.
Oh, wow.
3 times on the back.
Oof.
And should have been dead from that. Didn't. Got in a really bad accident. That's why I shaved my head. I got in a really bad accident.
Oh,
It scalped me.
Oh, my gosh.
But I'm alive. So.
Wow.
Yeah, I look at it like that, and I'm just like, you know what? God's good. I'm not dead.
Yep.
Let's go.
Gratitude, man.
I get to play more Destiny.
Absolutely. Goes a long way.
I know that's kind of a funny thing. Thank you, God. Now I get to go home and play Destiny.
What's Zavala doing? Hey, let me ask you our signature questions before we wrap up here. We got the speedrun next. And I asked this one of all of our guests. Do you have any hobbies outside of gaming?
Oh, gosh. Well, I collect collectibles, which you can see on the stream.
Like Pops, or?
I had a bunch of Pops. I sold them. But I've got, in the office I'm looking at now, I've got my Cage 6 statue from his last stand.
Oh, nice.
I've got on one shelf, it's just full of Batman figures.
Nice.
Batman statues, some Beast Kingdom,
any Star Wars?
Joker. I do. I've got a Cara Dune. I've got I can't remember who makes it, but it's a Mandalorian when he's in the damaged armor before he gets his Vesper armor. Got a bunch of that stuff. I love Dritz Do Erden, the books by R.A. Salvatore.
Okay.
So I'm big into that. Final Fantasy. I've got a bunch of Final Fantasy stuff. So I collect collectibles, Assassin's Creed. but I also collect comic books.
Of course. Makes sense.
Because, they're amazing. And I 3D print. So
very cool. What have you made lately?
Well,
or let me phrase this way. What's one of your successful 3D prints?
The Frontier from Starfield.
Very cool.
Printed it. It was a ton of pieces. Printed it, put it together, painted it.
Very nice.
I love it. The newest thing I have printed, I can't say because it's a gift for someone.
Okay, fair enough.
Listen, so
fair enough.
I can't tell you.
Okay.
So I can send you a message and tell you what it is later.
I'd like to know.
Oh.
Excellent. RhasaGhoull.
Hmm?
Dude, what's up with the gamer tag?
RhasaGhoull?
Yes.
Well, I'm a huge Batman fan. And when I played EverQuest, I named myself RhasaGhoull, the demon.
Mm-hmm.
Batman's, well, depending upon which story you follow, Batman's kind of mentor, trainer. And so I named myself RhasaGhoull, and they nerfed my name. And I was like, why did you do that? And they said, because it's a Batman character and someone reported you because you couldn't have real people's names or comic character names. Yeah, and EverQuest 2, you couldn't have them.
Wow.
So I got reported, and they were like, we'll give you a chance to change it. And I was like, can I change it to Rasa, R-H-A-S-A? And they were like, sure. And so I named it Rasa Tabula, which is blank slate.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, it's slate blank. But so I named it that, and somebody was like, reported me again and said, you can't have that. There's a game out called Tabula Rasa. I was like, it's Latin.
Seriously?
I mean, that's like saying my name is the Sky. You can't name yourself the Sky. So
wow.
I ended up on RhasaGhoull because I couldn't name it. I just went back to my other name and snuck that one through, and they never said anything about it. And I was like, yay. So
I like RhasaGhoull. It's very unique. Yeah.
It's a Batman villain.
I like it.
Or it's a play on a Batman villain. So
see, I know. Plug your ears, but my parents didn't own a comic book store, and my parents did not buy comics for me.
Oh man,
I was not a comic guy. I know I missed a big chunk of my life there, but
well, you can still catch up.
No, I've got too many other things on my plate. I just don't have time to go back. I don't.
So if I sent you like a Batman one-off, would you read it?
God, man, all the books I have, I'm still left to read. I don't know. I mean, it'd be nice to experience it, I guess. Yes. Yeah.
Well, there's some good ones.
Okay.
There's one called Batman the Cult. It's 4 issues.
Okay.
They're cheap. You could probably go into any comic book store and find them for like $2 or $3.
Sure.
But it is an amazing story.
Okay.
Everybody talked about Bane. You know who Bane is,
right? I know who Bane is, yes.
Okay, so Bane breaks the bat, breaks his back, and breaks his spirit. Or not his spirit, but he breaks his body.
Mm-hmm.
This Batman the Cult is about a cult leader, and he breaks the Batman spirit.
Wow. And
it was canon for a long time. They referred to him all the time. And it was just so good because it takes Batman to a place. Remember we were talking about Zavala earlier, where he's just defeated? It's that.
Yeah.
And it was so good. So, yeah.
Very cool.
You should try that.
Okay. Do you have a motto or mantra that you live by?
It's be kind to other people. You don't have to agree with everything someone says or does. You still have the ability to be kind to them. And a lot of the times on the stream, I'll end the stream at least once a week. I will say, this is a bit of a, I'll go through it quick, but I will say, so let me tell you this, guys. I believe that we were a fallen creation, and that because Adam sinned in the garden, we were separated from God. Because of that separation, God looked in time, because he stands outside of time. He looked through time, and he saw that we were going to need a plan. So he set up his son, Jesus, to become a sacrifice. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God. There wasn't anything made that was made without the Word. And so he set this plan in motion so that we could have Jesus come to earth, live a perfect life, die on the cross, give his self freely so that we could be reconciled with God, so we're no longer separated. And you don't have to agree with a word I just said. You can think, my God, he believes in Sky Daddy. We still have the ability to be kind to each other. And if you are a Buddhist and you believe whatever they believe, or if you're Muslim, or LGBTQ, doesn't matter.
Or atheist.
You still have, or atheist. You still have the ability to be kind to one another. And I think we've lost that as a society some. But that's why I like stuff like this. I have met so many people that have differing political views, differing religious views, differing just life views, and we get along and play games together and we're fine.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how it should be. So I don't know. That's my motto, is just be kind to others. You have no idea what a random act of kindness can do for someone. So
that's my motto at the end of every show, is be kind to your fellow guardians in the Destinyverse. I say it every year. I say it every year. I say it every episode. Yeah, it's kind of my little catchphrase. I just came up with it. I was like, we just need to be nice to each other. We all enjoy the game. Who cares who's better at it or who thinks this is stupid or that's stupid? Who cares? We all play the game. We love the game. There's one thing I've always realized when I talk to people in the Discord or out there in the game or even in the real world. You just never know what's going on in people's backgrounds. In their versions of their life, So I try to have empathy. I really do. I try to.
So it's like what happened to me this week. How's everybody going to know that?
True.
So just, maybe I'm wheezing or something, and they're like, what's the matter? You big old fatso or something?
Yeah.
No, my lungs are dying, dude. So
I've had people say,
you're a big old fatso?
No. They'll say, the heavy breath on this guy on with YouTube comment.
Oh.
Well, what people don't realize is I have a stricture. It's a narrowing of my throat. It's hereditary. I got it from my grandmother. Huh. And I'm actually not super overweight. You can hear a lot of air through my vocal cords because I have a stricture. I found that out when I had my first endoscopy done.
Why? I mean, why would that matter?
Yeah,
why should that matter?
But see, here's what I would look at. Why would someone say that and try to inject that hurt or poison unless they are poisoned themselves?
Exactly. So. It's like, you ever heard the expression that abused children abuse?
Oh, of course.
I was an abused child, not by my parents. But remember I told you about my one grandfather who shot himself?
Right.
That's why he shot himself.
Wow.
Because it came out what had happened.
Oh,
I have no shame about this.
Sure.
I use it to help other people.
Sure.
But somebody could have reached out to him. And I don't care what happened. I would have liked to have had my grandfather. So you never know. You never know what people are going through. So just be kind.
Exactly.
Sorry, I'm on a soapbox.
No, it's all right. I think about this all the time. I said, who kicked their dog today? That's kind of the way I see it. I'm like, okay, someone kicked their dog.
Kicks my dog, I'm going to be upset.
Someone kicked their dog this morning, and they're in a bad state right now. So moving on.
Yeah. Don't be kicking my dog.
Exactly. That tends to irritate people, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to go out with one more question here. And
sure.
What is one thing about you, RhasaGhoull, that maybe our community might not know about you?
I produced and edited and shot a television show for 3.5 years. It was for a local church. I did it for 3.5 years.
Wow.
It was fun.
You learned about content creation very early.
Yeah. And I did over 900 videos for them on a YouTube channel that's for them. And then there's actually a music festival that's close by where I live. It's in Wilmore, Kentucky. Mm-hmm. That's called the Ichthus Music Festival. And for the last 4 years, I have went out and filmed the festival, edited all the band's sets and stuff together, and sent everybody their video footage. And a couple of people have actually used some of the footage. They asked permission. I was like, you can do whatever you want with it, because once you shoot it, it's yours. But they had me sign a little waiver. I was like, yeah, you can do whatever you want with it. And they used it in promo stuff. Very cool. And of course, I did the Ichthus Music Festival's promos for them. Like come out to the festival, and they're high energy and they're like a minute long. And so I did some of that too. It's fun, but I'm really bad at selling myself. Like people will ask, what do you want for this? And I said, nothing. I just did it. There you go. And my wife looks at me like, why are you stupid?
Imposter syndrome's a bitch.
Yeah. They're like, get some money. I was like, nah, I'll just help them. It's cool.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Everybody deals with that who deals with content. Even Hollywood actors deal with this. It's just a human nature, I guess. Yeah. Well, dude, this is very interesting. I knew there was a reason I wanted to talk to you tonight, man. So, RhasaGhoull, thanks for sharing your life with us tonight, brother.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Well, dear listeners, that means it's time for the speed run. And after I take my mandatory bathroom break, we'll be back to see how RhasaGhoull does. Hang in there.
All right, let's do it.
Call the Praxic order. Call the Thanatonauts, the Ginseng Scribes, call everyone so they can witness you.
All right, boys and girls, this segment is called the SpeedRun. This is where we have a database of over 800 possible questions for our guest, and RhasaGhoull here will have 2 minutes to answer as many as he can. These are short 1 or 2 word answers, and at the end of the year, the guest with the most answer will win a prize and title of 2024 SpeedRun Champion. The questions are custom curated by me, so no one can memorize the order and just quickly answer what comes to mind. Tonight, I'm going to read out the questions from my list, and my digital assistant will help me with the timer. Mr. Sith Daddy Fresh is our current leader with 49 questions answered.
Nice.
So what do you think? You ready to do this, RhasaGhoull?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, here we go. Counting down. 3, 2, 1. Warlock, Titan, or Hunter?
Warlock.
Hand towels or air dryer?
Hand towels.
Void, Solar Arc, Stasis, or Strand?
Strand.
If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Florida.
Walmart or Target?
Target.
Controller, mouse, and keyboard?
Mouse and keyboard.
Sidearm, shotgun, or fusion rifle?
Fusion rifle.
Strikes, Crucible, or Gambit?
Strikes.
Are you an AMC Stubbs member?
No.
Quest or RNG?
RNG.
If you could choose, who would voice your ghost?
Tom Hanks.
TWAB or TWID?
Bob.
Human, Awoken, or Exo?
Human.
DC or Marvel?
That's a trick question. Both.
Is Scum Death your uncle?
No.
What's your favorite Destiny planet?
Mars, but they took it away.
Chick-fil-A or Popeyes?
Chick-fil-A.
Vex, Fallen, or Hive?
Vex.
What's your favorite armor or weapon mod?
Oh, God. Probably the,
Just say one.
counterbalance. The counterbalance one.
What's the best sandwich?
Peanut butter and jelly.
What armor slot do you use as an exotic?
Most time chest.
Kill Clip, Rampage, or Headseeker?
Rampage.
Ikora, Cater, Zavala?
Cade.
TV or monitor?
EV.
What number am I thinking of?
42.
It was 7. Smooth or chunky peanut butter?
Smooth.
Describe yourself in one word.
Sexy.
Destiny 2 seasonal events, yes or no?
Yes.
What's one thing you own that needs to be thrown out?
Oh, God. So many Batman figures.
What's the worst job you've ever had?
GameStop.
What's better, the book or the movie?
The book.
Do you have a tattoo?
Yes.
Beard or clean shaven?
Beard.
Favorite drink?
Coca-Cola.
Apple or Android?
Apple.
Solo or fire team?
Solo.
Gas, electric, or diesel?
Gas.
Can you drive a stick shift?
No.
Xbox, PC, or PlayStation?
PC.
Oh,
Is that the end of your timer?
that's the end of my timer. And there we go. Didn't want to shut off on me. Here, I'll give you a couple more. Do aliens exist?
Yes.
Favorite music genre?
Heavy metal.
Star Trek or Star Wars?
Both.
Okay, good deal. Hey, 42, that's not bad. That's not bad.
Those are trick questions, dude.
Oh, I know some of them are, but you still have to answer them. Well, a lot of these are evergreen. You'll hear the same ones every week, but I mix up a few, like DC or Marvel was one of the mixing questions. So not bad, man. Not bad. I had fun doing that. Thanks for playing along.
Yeah.
Honestly.
That's fun.
Yeah. Well, hey, listeners, I have a great question for you. Do you have a great question for our speedrun segment? If that's a yes, join our Discord community and enter them in the Speedrun Question Ideas channel, and we'll add them to next year's speedrun. You know, they need to be, 1 or 2 word answers. Either or questions will also be accepted. And don't forget that one open-ended question I love, and that's what's your favorite? At the end of the year, we're going to have 2 drawings for a $25 gift card of your choice. Thank you to our Patreon community. And you can enter up to 5 questions to go into that very drawing. So let's hear them, and good luck. Also, if you're enjoying what you've heard so far in our little show and you know someone who plays Destiny, hey, could you do us a favor? Share the show with them. There's all kinds of links in our show description right down there. I'm pointing down below your podcast player in the description section. Down there. Yeah. So I'll thank you in advance. Appreciate that. All right. So that means it's time for This Week in Destiny. Hey, Guardian, let me ask you a question. As a podcast producer and listener myself, there's one thing that annoys me the most when listening to my favorite podcast. You know, you're really getting into the flow of the conversation when out of nowhere, an obtrusive advertisement blaring into your earbuds. Sunday, 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 it's our special weekend super duper blowout sale going on now at your local dealer. Doorbuster sales going on now. Cars at $48,000? No way, boy! Now $2,000. So what are you waiting for? Get down here for our super duper blowout sale going on now. What are you waiting for? Get on down. 30-second skip, 30-second skip. What the hell? Podcast ads, in my opinion, really disrupt the natural flow of a great conversation. But thanks to our Patreon community, we don't accept outside advertising or promotion. So sit back and enjoy the show. Oh, and by the way, if you would like to become a part of a listener-supported podcast like this one, go to patreon.com/support Guardian Downcast. Or just visit our website at guardiandowncast.com. You'll also have instant access to over 2 years of listener-supported audio and video episodes just for our Patreon community. Not to mention a cool badge in our Discord as well. Take care, and later, Guardian. Get on down! All right, this week in Destiny for July 5th, 2024, a rare Friday TWAB, because of the holiday, of course. They said this week in Destiny, we're a day late because yesterday was a holiday for some of us. We hope everyone in the United States had a nice 4th of July, and that reading a TWAB on Friday feels a bit like using a golden gun on a warlock or a titan. It shouldn't be possible, but still hunt exists. So the topics they talk about are tuning in for the Echoes Act 2 live stream. Bungie Day is almost here. Iron Banner continues this next week. There's some cool wallpapers that they included in the TWAB this week. Check it out. They're very cool looking too, by the way. We hear echoes of amazing community art, which will be posted in the TWAB if you want to see that. And there is a Matoro manga collab is complete. And it's very extensive, by the way. Very cool collaboration in there. So check that out as well. Obviously, I'm not going to go over it here on an audio podcast, but I did want to say this. Getting ready for Act 2 live stream. Tune in for our next developer live stream on July 9th, 10 a.m. Pacific, where we will preview the new content coming with Echoes Act 2. We'll have 3 members of our dev team ready to talk about how the story will unfold and what new activities and rewards are coming. Speaking of rewards, they got another emblem. All you have to do is watch this on Twitch 15 minutes or more during a live stream, and you'll get the Ooh Shiny emblem in the game. Yeah, that's the name of it. And it looks pretty good. It's a violet color. It has like a falcon or an eagle on it and a claw. Looks very good. I remember that claw. It looks like an old Iron Banner emblem a little bit, but the eagle on it is very nice. So yeah, 15 minutes. Not bad at all. Happy Bungie Day. Next Sunday is a very special day for our studio. You guessed it. It's Bungie Day. This year we're celebrating with a special Bungie Foundation PvP tournament and some amazing discounts for the Bungie store. I do want to mention the Bungie Day sale. The new arrivals and up to 75% off select merchandise. It does run from July 9th to July 16th, 10 a.m. Pacific time. There's a free emblem with any purchase. Interesting looking emblem. Very dark. But, yeah, good time to go to the Bungie store. Set up to 75% off everything in there. I've bought a lot of stuff from the Bungie store. I do like their products. And, as a true Destiny fan, there's a lot of stuff in there that's really cool. I love the t-shirts, by the way. They're very good too. And they're not bad quality. Good sturdy t-shirts. So, check that out. You got until the 16th. We got another week of Iron Banner. We hope you've been having tons of fun in Iron Banner. Saladin is tough, but his training is priceless, especially now that he has implemented some Cabal war tactics in the event. This is a general reminder of what we announced last week. The Iron Banner will now be a 2-week event with a different game mode each week. The first week is Control, which I'm playing right now, and next week will be Tribute. It gives you more time to gild your Iron Lord title and get more Criminal's Daggers and Claws of the Wolf. Get that Claws of the Wolf. It's very good. I've heard people are enjoying the high impact Criminal's Dagger as well. Just not a Hank Cannon fan. So, check that out and begin your farming on that as well. Chilling with the Traveler. We got all kinds of wallpapers. Some of the Excision mission, which look very good. After the battle, where we're sitting looking at the portal on the other side of the Traveler. Very good. Has a close-up one of it as well. Into the Stars shows 3 ships firing up from the city. Looks very cool. I might use that one. That one's very nice. The Journey Ahead. Very interesting wallpaper there. I'm going to definitely get that one. And Echoes. It shows our mysterious enemy with her, I'm guessing her, hand out over our Guardians. It's a very iconic piece there. So check those out. And it's real easy to download them. You just click on them and save image. It's very simple. All right. They have all kinds of manga and art at the end of the TWAB here. So definitely check all of that out. Very talented people in the Destiny community. Let me tell you, this is beautiful, beautiful artwork here. So check that out as well. Yeah, it's a lot of it. A lot of it. That should be some good reading. Good reading there. Player support report. Shit's broken. That's it for this week in Destiny for July 5th, 2024. All right. You know what? Let's get to some Destiny questions. We'll do that right after this.
Hey Guardians, would you like to send us a question for the show? There's several easy ways to do it. First, you can join our Discord server at discord.gg/GuardianDownCast. There's also a join link in our show notes. We have Guardians from all walks of life and all over the world, from new lights to day one players to hardcore gamers. There's also a channel labeled Podcast Questions where you can type in your question for the show. So come hang out with us. You can also email us with your question at guardiandowncast@gmail.com, or we also occasionally post about our upcoming show and guest, and you can respond there with your question. @Guardian_D_cast is our X handle. Finally, you can send us a voicemail with your question at guardiandowncast.com, and we might play it on the podcast. Think of it as talking with us right on the show. Hey, we love voicemails, so let's hear them. Thanks for listening, and later, Guardian.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the part of the show where we get our questions from you guys. And we have several questions for our guest, RhasaGhoull, tonight. I'll start out with Dimwee. He says, any gaming tips you can give to us gaming youngsters? I think there was some sarcasm there. I'm guessing. That's Dimwee.
Is this because I'm old?
I'm sure it's Dimwee. He's our younger German community member. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't sell your games to GameStop and keep all your old consoles.
There you go. That's good advice. Very good advice. We have here one from Zombie Ops, one of our patron members. Question for the show. As more and more of us gamers become grandparents, should we continue the tradition of keeping Werthers in candy dishes? Oh my God, they're really playing the old card tonight, aren't they?
Yes.
Gotta have a Werther's, man.
Except mine will have to be sugar free. So
that's true. They make a good sugar free one. My wife loves those. It's the coffee ones, I believe. Steel Zealot has a question for you. It's hot these days. So favorite and least favorite ice cream flavor. Well, that's a good question. Least favorite and favorite.
Oh man. Least favorite, Rocky Road. I don't like the nuts. And, favorite used to be, again, can't have it anymore, but, used to be, that coffee flavored one that, I'm trying to think of what they call it.
Cafe latte? That's the one that's the gelato place next to me. They have a cafe latte. It's really good.
It's basically coffee ice cream, espresso ice cream, but I can't think of the name of the place in Lexington that we got it from.
Okay. Okay. I think people get the gist. Least favorite is cherry vanilla. Oh, I hated that. My dad loved it. I hated it. And, my favorite would be mint chocolate chip.
Oh.
Love my mint chocolate chip, especially if it's like, a really good high quality brand. Like, Breyers is okay, but,
Klondike?
No, not into the Klondike bars. No, I would, there's one called Tillamook. I think that's my favorite ice cream flavor right now. They're very expensive, and I only buy it when it's on sale, which is very infrequently. It's annoying as hell. So
good though.
It's very good. It's very creamy. So, okay. Thank you, Steel Zealot. Next question is from HD Tech. Question for the show. Going through some memory stuff the other day and thought of something for y'all. If you could go back in time and give yourself one piece of advice, what would you give to yourself? As our youngster selves. That is a good question. I've thought of this before.
Probably buy Google.
Yeah, buy Google stock.
Or Amazon.
Even Microsoft, I think, would be okay.
Yeah.
Phew. Probably two things. First thing would be don't take things too seriously. Life goes on. These are just speed bumps in life, and you will get by. You will get past it. And the other one is probably live below your means. Don't go getting credit cards hocked up. Believe me, I was in college, and I unfortunately got sucked into the credit card trap, and it took a long time to get out of it. So definitely live below your means. I know that's hard to say for most millennials and Gen Zs out there because housing is so expensive and rent's so high, and the jobs haven't really kept up much with that. But figure out how to live below your means and just blindly just have auto debit put money away for you out of every paycheck. Before you know it, you'll have a chunk of change for an emergency.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yep. He has one for you, RhasaGhoull. So after raising your kids and now having grandkids, how hard was it for you to turn the switch off in your head and not want to micro-parent and realize that you are now grandpa, not dad anymore?
Wasn't hard at all.
Insightful questions. HD Tech.
With the grandchildren, you can bring them over, love them up, sugar them up, play with them, roughhouse with them, and then when it's time to go home, they go home.
That's the important part, is to get them all hyped up on sugar. Good call. I'll have to put that one in my book.
Well, the one of the greatest things, though, seriously, is having them just rush into your hands, or rush into your arms, just like pop, and they give you a big hug, and you love on them, and then you talk to your daughter and or your son-in-law, and you're like, I want to show them Poltergeist. No, they can't see that. Okay, I won't show them Poltergeist. Can they watch Jaws? Yeah, he loves sharks. You can totally watch Jaws. I'm like, so Jaws is like eating people, and there's blood in the water, and and this guy's getting dragged off the boat at the end. But I can't watch a ghost story. All right, whatever. But you respect their wishes, and because it's their child. So.
Sure. Yeah, definitely. Rodimus Prime has a question for you. Why is Rodimus Prime Hot Rod the best Autobot?
Why is Rodimus Prime Hot Rod the best Autobot? Well, if we're going, this is a long answer. If we're going based off of the 86 continuity, where they introduced Hot Rod Rodimus Prime, I would say he's probably the best Autobot because when Prime was, and these spoiler alerts, if you haven't seen this movie since 1986, I mean, I don't know what to tell you, but when Prime is dying on that table, he picks that Matrix up, and that Matrix obviously chose him, and he knew it. And he was loyal enough to Optimus Prime, what Optimus Prime wanted him to do, that he gave that Matrix to Ultra Magnus anyway. And then he followed along with him, fought Galvatron hand to hand, with no hope of winning. And then when he touched that Matrix again, he became Rodimus Prime. So he was very humble. Well, now I say humble, but he was a jerk, because he was Hot Rod, But when it came to those in charge and the rule of leadership, he was right there. And so that was great. Now, if you're talking about the new Kirkman series, it's because he's bad to the bone. And if you've not read the new Kirkman shared universe with Transformers and Void Rivals and G.I. Joe, Scarlet, Destro, Cobra Commander, you are cheating yourself, because it is fan-freaking-tastic.
Did you get all that, Rodimus? That went over my head. Okay. Well, thanks for answering honestly there. LPU Soldier has a question for you. Assuming you're not a hunter main, how do you feel about all these hunters wearing the super black shader, making themselves look like Batman?
I love it.
Yeah, it's cool.
I have super black on my Warlock and my Hunter. Thank you very much.
Very nice. I ran out of time. I couldn't get mine. I hope they offer it again.
Aw.
Yeah, I had to reset the Into the Light shacks. I was like 15. I had to get to 16, and it was like the closing hours before Destiny went offline. I was like, oh well, hopefully they'll bring it back at some point. Yep.
Yeah,
I was there. It's all right. I'm not going to lose sleep over it, but It's okay. I love shaders, man. I almost have all the shaders. It's one thing I do, collector shaders. And I was a little pissed I couldn't get the super black, but it's okay. No big deal. I like more shiny gold shaders anyway.
I used to, but then they took my Leviathan away and it made me mad.
Really?
Yeah.
What is your favorite shader?
Oh gosh. What is that? The name of that group? Dead Orbit.
Oh, the Dead Orbit black.
Yeah, I love that one. I love Carminica, which is like a red and black.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's one I can't remember the name of. You get it from Gambit. It's like Jade something. I really like that one
the
too.
green Jade one. Yeah, that one. That's a favorite of mine too. It has like the bright green. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very nice. It looks good on guns too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But no, actually I can pull the shader off one of my weapons or one of my sets here.
See, that was fun back in the day.
Yeah.
It's like they didn't sell shaders. You just had to go and get it and then salvage a piece of armor and then you got it.
Exactly. The one I'm really liking right now is Erebos Glance.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of a black and orange. I'm a big orange guy, obviously. I'm a Gator fan, so I like a little bit of orange, but it's mostly black. And there was another one.
You're not a Bengals fan.
Oh, no, not a Cincinnati fan, no. No, I'm actually a Jacksonville fan, but I'm still loyal to my Bucks, even though they are totally rebuilding right now, but it's fine. I'm okay with it. I'm kind of a dual city fan, and I'm not a Miami fan. Ever since Marino left, I've never really been a Miami fan. And you can call me a fair weather fan or whatever, you Miami Dolphin fans out there, but once that empire was gone, it was like I just didn't recognize the Miami Dolphins anymore. So the Shula era was where I watched a ton of Dolphins beat the Jets every year. Yep. The one I like that changes colors is called Fighting Colors. It was one I think you had to buy. It was either a Bright Dust or one you had to purchase from Eververse. I love ones that are dynamic and have color changes. So that one's another one I like. Okay.
Armor does that from, what is that dungeon? Ghost of the Deep?
Yeah.
You put anything on that and the Ghost of the Deep armor comes up.
There's some armor packages that just look fantastic. So, okay. We have one more question here from Jimmy, the original Jimmy. This is Rainer. Have any of you two been in the newspaper for yelling at clouds? Very funny. That's one demerit. That's another one of our German members. Him and Dimwee. I tell you what, those two youngins, I gotta keep an eye on those two. What gun is your most liked because of 1, fun, 2, lore, 3, looks, 4, DPS, and 5, nostalgia? It's a big list.
Malfeasance.
For all of that?
Just,
okay.
For most of it, yeah.
Okay.
I would say Malfeasance. It looks amazing. I love the lore behind it. And when you go in there, the quest to get it, of course it's Gambit related. So, low bias there.
Okay.
But nostalgia, Ghost Promise.
Yeah, it's an inaugural address for me for nostalgia. DPS, I mean, come on, original Jimmy. That changes all the time, man.
Yes. Yeah.
That changes all
right
the time.
now, it's a toss up between, well, I don't know. Do you mean Raid Boss DPS or do you mean just clearing ads?
He didn't specify, so I guess it could be anything you want. DPS and whatever. So maybe just yellow bars?
Clearing ad DPS is going to be Graviton.
Yes, it's very good.
And in the new raid, Boss DPS is the Hunt.
I tell you what, don't count out Outbreak Perfected. If you get a whole team with Outbreak Perfected with a Catalyst, you can really do damage to raid bosses. It's probably not optimal, but I tell you, I've seen some videos of it just chewing up bosses. So, and you never run out of ammo. Think about it.
Everybody goes in with Rat King.
Well, see, I have mine with the rewind rounds. See, I said it right. No one got me on that one. I love the rewind rounds because, I mean, you can literally just keep firing and never reload as long as you're hitting crits. So it's great when you're doing damage. I just found out I got a heliocentric drop in the world today that has heal clip and incandescent. Then that is going to be a monster for doing ad control on PvE. I'm hanging on to that one. Okay. Thanks, Rainer. the original Jimmy. Thanks for your question.
Yeah, Jim Raynor, StarCraft name, right?
Is that where it comes from?
Yeah, Jim Raynor's from
Okay.
Heaven's Devils, StarCraft.
Oh, okay. Very nice. I play Call of Duty, man. I didn't play StarCraft back in the day.
StarCraft 2, I was in, I think it was Platinum League. But I came up against, when you get that high, and it's just, I mean, they're just better at it than we are. It was all South Koreans all the time.
Really?
And yeah, and you couldn't beat them.
Oh, wow.
They just, man, they're good. And so, I had some rage-inducing moments.
Wow.
Doing that. So, but yeah. But StarCraft 2 is a great game. They need to do more.
Let's see. A couple Destiny questions here before we go. We got a few here still. Try to clean these up here. Blink, posted this question. I think I asked this one, but I'm going to ask you. How satisfied were you after watching the video Bungie released referring to the road ahead for Destiny? Also, did you notice there was a Destiny 2 logo next to the Frontiers codename? What's your take on all this, man? The future of Destiny.
Some of my buddies are not looking forward to, people I game with every day are not looking forward to the Hive one because of the Ascended Realm. I am.
Okay.
I want to know what's going on with them. And I cannot wait to get back to the Dreadnought. It was one of my favorite spots in Destiny 1.
I'm looking forward to that. That is going to bring back some feels. I lived in that place.
I also just need to just make Destiny 3 now. Let's just do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, it's time. It's time for a clean start. I think they're working on it. I really do. Jimmy Raynor, another question here. Question for the show. Do you think the Celestial Nighthawk will be available for the Prismatic Titan and Warlock class items in the future as Still Hunt is becoming the meta and hunters deal like twice the damage the other classes to the Witness? Good question.
That is a good question. I'd never really thought about that. I hope so.
I've mentioned this to Kingsley, and I think Nico AK Jersey, I talked to him about it too. I think Prismatic is just the beginning. I think they're going to be expanding this out to other parts of our regular light and dark subclasses. I think the unlockable aspects, and I'm sure they're going to add more fragments. I think this will be the only subclass to really work with down the road. I think maybe they're doing it on purpose to get rid of all the extra stuff, because the light and dark saga is over. So why do we have light and dark subclasses still? Why can't we just have one that incorporates both, that's what Prismatic is right now. So yeah, I mean, it makes sense, but I really think, maybe even in this next couple acts in the seasons, they'll add some, that's a stretch. It's a stretch, but maybe they'll add another aspect or something.
You mentioned Kingsley. That's another great player. Another great person in the community. If you guys haven't had a chance to hang out with him, you should.
Yeah.
He's a nice guy. Absolutely.
He's a rotating guest co-host on the show. So, yeah, we get into some pretty good conversations too. He's a little more critical of some stuff in Destiny, and I'm a little more free flowing, but it works as a good conversation piece. Bazash has a question here for us. In early Destiny 2 for 3 years, I had Cerberus locked in my kinetic slot. It's a beast for PvP one-on-one scenarios and makes me look good with 4 bullets at once. And I am by confession an awful PvP player. I know the range is the trade-off, but I love it. Why does nobody else seem to use it? And what are your thoughts? Have you used this weapon?
I have. I don't like it. It's very jumpy, and I feel like I'm all over the place. Now, if you had asked John the Bounty Hunter this, he loves the thing.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you this. Do you have the catalyst for it?
Oh, yeah. I got all the catalysts.
Okay. Yeah, the catalyst does make it a little bit better of a weapon. It's a very good close-up weapon for charging shotgunners and stuff, coming at you. I prefer a sidearm because you should always have a sidearm. But I haven't used it as of late. I did play with it a little bit in Crucible, but there's just so many other options. And spray and pray is really not my forte. It's more about precision headshots. That's kind of the name of the game in Crucible. But I tell you what, if you had someone charging you or you had an aggressive team, you could probably clean up with that weapon. So more power to you, man. All right, let's go out with a non-Destiny question here. I'm just going to get this one out of the way. It's for me. From LPU Soldier. Question for Todd. Is oatmeal your preferred sauce for your bagels? It is my preferred dipping. I do like to dip bagels in my oatmeal in the morning. It's whole wheat bagels, by the way.
Is that an old joke?
It's I've been known to dip, what I do is I actually put a little spoon on my bagel and then take a bite. It's delicious. Until you've tried it, you cannot knock it, LPU soldier. You just can't, man. But yes, it is my preferred dipping item for my bagels in the morning. And I don't always have bagels, but sometimes it's oatmeal and eggs. But that is my preferred dipping item. Cream of wheat will work too, by the way. It's a little easier to put on there too. It's not so chunky.
I like cream of wheat.
Yeah, good stuff. I think we'll leave it there. Thank you, everyone, for putting in your question for the show. We now have no more Destiny questions, and next week we will have another show. And if you want to leave some questions for us, feel free to do that, and we'll do our best to answer them. So thank you, everybody. Mr. Fudd, play that intro music, sir.
Oh, listen to the Guardian Downcast. Oh, it's a playlist. Yes. Oh, and I've heard they've won awards for it and such.
Thank you, Mr. Fudd. I hope you're not still mad at me, brother. Come on, man. Show me that love. I miss you. Okay, this is the final segment of our show. It's where we like to pick our songs for our award-winning Guardian Downcast playlist. It's a little sample of what myself and our guests like to listen to, and we invite you all to listen to it as well. Just search for Guardian Downcast show playlist on Spotify. We now have it also on Apple Music if you want to follow along. The links are down in the description down below. And we now have 1,205 songs representing all of us and every past guest of our show since July of 2019. So it's kind of a time capsule. So if you want to follow along and check it out, or just hit shuffle and just see what pops up, there you get the links down there. So check it out. I'll start with you, Mr. RhasaGhoull. What are you picking for tonight and why, sir?
It's a song called Zeros Greater Than One. It's by a band named Project 86. And it is a commentary on social media and how social media basically just mines your data, sells it to to design things that you don't need for things that you think you do need. So part of the song reads, mining your he sings it. It says, mining your interests, mining your tastes, inventing the cure to devise the disease, exploiting your need for consequence, but you're only a cipher. So they don't care about you. None of these social media companies care about you. Twitter, Facebook, none of this stuff.
It's a business.
You're just there for them to mine, and then, they go in and they elect their politicians and they get their way and they rule the world.
Gotcha.
It's a song against all of that. So
Very nice. I'll check that one out. Good deal. I'll play it when I add it next week. Sweet. Thank you, sir. Well, the song I chose for tonight, I was really surprised that this guy has nearly 11 million monthly listeners still on Spotify. And I kind of just ran into this song. They randomly suggested it to me. And it's a single he released in 2021 called Bitter Taste. And it's got a really good chorus. And it's kind of a nicer version of his usual music. It's from the 68-year-old rock and roll artist from Stanmore, Middlesex, UK, Mr. Billy Idol. Got to give this one a listen. It's a great little song, man. It's not his usual harder stuff. Harder, I put that in quotes because it's kind of pop music by now, but in the 80s, he was kind of cutting edge. But, it's a nice little song. I like it. So that's the one I picked for this week. Good deal. All right. Some new announcements before we go here. I wanted to thank all of our patrons of the show, but we have 2 new members this week I wanted to give a shout out for. We have a new Gatorade patron. That would be Apex Cuddler. Thank you and welcome to the Patreon community. And a new tip jar patron. That would be McMaximo. Thank you both for giving back to the podcast community. We do appreciate it. Patron shout outs. All of our patrons out there. We do appreciate everything you do for our show and community. But our Dungeon Champion patrons would be Technical, Raffi, Wicked Trinity, Sith Daddy Fresh, and Deadpool 1 Merc. And a thank you to our highest tier members, our Raid Boss patrons. That's Jealous, Frostbite, TL Tim, Laz is on vacation. We don't have to tell him. Amazing Taco King and Nico, aka Jersey. Thank you all for giving back to our community. This week I released another special audio bonus episode if you haven't listened to it already. So, it's sound bites of all of our past guests before and after I hit the record button. So remember to go to patreon.com/support Guardian Downcast. I've had some members reach out to me with some questions, some Discord members reach out about some questions about the Patreon. What is it? What are the benefits of joining the Patreon community? So for this one time, I'll probably mention this. I wanted to very briefly explain what it's all about, as I've made a lot of changes to it from the past and how it's all put together. And some of you may not know about these new changes. So very quickly, Patreon is a popular website where a community can fund and support independent media, whether it's video and audio content creators, musicians, anything else you can think of that relies on its community to fund its operations and whatever the creator decides to afford for their shows and productions. So I set up a GDC Patreon in January of 2022 at the request of some of the community members. And this Patreon community continues to grow all the time. So the question I get is, so what do I get? What do I get for giving back to the podcast community? Well, at any membership level for your monthly membership, I promise to produce one extra episode a month just for the Patreon community. The base level is called the tip jar. It gives you full access to all of our past and future Patreon episodes. You will also get a special role and badge in our Discord and access to a private channel we call the Lounge. And I call our patrons in the Lounge Lizards. And I think credit goes to Chubby Wizard for that name. He's one of our patrons. The next level of membership is called Gatorade. And you get everything I mentioned earlier, but you get an updated badge. Just shows a higher level of support in the community. The next level of membership is called the Fist Bump, probably one of our most popular ones. And this level, you get everything I mentioned earlier, a new updated badge, question for the show priority, and a monthly Ask Me Anything. The next two tiers are the tiers you'll hear announced on the show every week. These tiers have a special limited number of slots available, and these are the Dungeon Champion tiers and the Raid Boss tiers. The Dungeon Champion, you'll receive a personal Guardian Downcast card from me with a personal message inside, a collection of decals made exclusively for our members every year, one song choice per month in our Guardian Downcast playlist on Spotify and Apple Music, and of course a special badge in our Discord. The limited number of Raid Boss members will get a personal Guardian Downcast card and decals from me, as well as from our Dungeon Champion patrons, but also an annual recorded speedrun attempt. And you will have to set that up and get with me if you want to do a speedrun attempt for that year. You'll get question of the month input, a special Guardian Downcast badge in our Discord, and finally, one Guardian Downcast t-shirt of your choice every year, as long as you're a member with us. So yeah, you can share in some of that merch. The higher tiers are limited because I can only handle providing so many benefits, and these benefits take time to create. As of this month, we still do have membership slots available, but when they fill up in the Dungeon Champion and Raid Boss tiers, that membership tier will close. So there's a limited number of spots available for that. So at the very least, you get an extra Patreon episode every month as a member of our Patreon. These benefits I just want to mention need to be redeemed by the member, and you'll need to DM me in the Discord if you want to redeem your benefits. I just can't keep up with keeping track of who got what. So if you're a member and you have these, you're affected by these new changes, just DM me and let me know, hey, I want to cash in my song choice for the month as a Dungeon Champion patron. And I'll make sure we do it. And I'll usually mention it on the show as well. That's it in a nutshell. By the way, there is an option to join as a free member. You'll get a sample of the monthly content and just kind of check out, see if the episodes are worth, your time, or just hang out with the community and see if it's something you want to do or contribute to in the future. So check out the site, see for yourself if it's something you want to participate in. Just go to our website, guardiandowncast.com, and click on that big Patreon button. And then it'll take you to the site where you can look over all the membership tiers available. So that's it. I don't mention it very often, but I just wanted to mention I did make some changes to benefits with the Patreon community. And if you've always been on the fence and don't know, what exactly that is, now you know. All right, that's a wrap. Another episode in our collection. We had a great show last week with my longtime buddy and guest co-host Warcry. We talked about how gaming has changed from the 14 years ago when I met him. So check that out if you haven't already. It's a really great show. For our listeners out there, we have 258 other episodes with interviews from gamers all over our community. So take a look at those, especially if you're just finding out about us. And if you like what you hear, the only way we grow is if you tell someone about our podcast. Check back next week as I have another Guardian Downcast episode coming. I'm also planning another roundtable episode, hopefully in late July. The new roundtablers have been booked, and I'm really looking forward to this one. It's going to be a really good conversation. I also have a new Destiny Help Desk episode dropping soon. I planned on releasing it last week, but I ran into some new information, and I wanted to make sure I pass it on to you. So I need to add that into the show, and then look out for it in the next few days, probably midweek. Well, Mr. RhasaGhoull, had a great time, man. Great conversations tonight, and thank you again for coming on the show. That was a lot of fun.
Thank you again for having me.
Well, if you would, please tell us about your streaming channel, where people can find you out there in the interwebs, and all that great stuff, man.
Well, if you want to check out past stuff I've done, and it's just kind of like a variety channel. There's a lot of gaming videos on it, Let's Plays, and, shooting flintlock rifles, other random nonsense. You can check it out at youtube.com/RhasaGhoull. That's just how my name is, RhasaGhoull. I do stream on Twitch, and that is twitch.tv/OnlyGrampsGaming. It's exactly how it sounds, and don't give me grief about the name. It was my wife's idea. She thought it would be funny. So.
I like it. It got my attention. Not many grandpa streamers out there, So, good deal, man.
Well, keep going. We're all going to be grandpa soon.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Absolutely. Well, thanks again, man. That was a great show. It's a great show. I'm Todd the Gator, 2 Ds and GATR on my Twitter X profile. You can find me on Steam and PS5 the very same way, playing Destiny 2. I have a YouTube channel, Todd the Gator. I create videos to help new players. I post podcast clips and shorts from this episode you're hearing right now. Even maybe some commentary and opinion on occasion. I try to stream as often as I can on YouTube, my channel. So check that out if you see it pop up in the live notifications channel or the Todd the Gator content channel in our Discord. Anything I produce goes to that channel, so it's real easy to follow. And like I said, our podcasts are there as well. If you want to watch, if you like to use YouTube to listen to our podcast, and it's really good stuff. I have a second podcast called the Destiny Help Desk, like I mentioned earlier, that is now based on a single topic in the game Destiny 2. And my buddy Ronan Redline and I had a really good conversation a few weeks ago, and that episode will be coming out very soon about the new Pathfinder system. So we'll talk about the ins and outs of that, some tips and tricks, and some other input as well. Check that out. No Scum Death's Corner, and Laz took the week off. It's 4th of July.
What?
Yeah, it's 4th of July.
No Scum Death's Corner.
No, it was probably a sore subject being 4th of July this week. You probably, have
fun at work, Scum Death.
We're all treasonous, back in the day. So what are you going to do? But it's okay. He'll be back soon.
I like Scum Death.
Good guy. And like I said, Laz this is his one time of the year he does take a vacation. So we'll hear from him again very soon. But remember, everyone, as you're playing Final Shape, take breaks, get outside and touch grass. Trash Panda.
Yeah, stand up. Don't get blood clots,
Yes, absolutely. Everyone, remember, we're Guardian Downcast, your stories, your community, your destiny. And be good to your fellow Guardians in the Destinyverse.
Defeat is not surrender, Guardian.
Thank you all so very much for listening. And later, Guardian. Want to say something?
No, I'm good.
Okay, cool.
But that was, it's very professional. Good Lord, if I get the words out of it.
Thanks, man.
You do a good job. I do like your shorts.
Doing it like 5 years now, man. I've got a lot of practice.
Your shorts make me laugh, though. And some of the comments you get, they're like, just give it up, dude. They're not going to make Destiny 3. It's like, let the man have his fantasies.
Oh, I don't even look
What's
at
wrong
half
with
of
you?
those. I don't look at half of those.
Oh, man.
The only comments I look at, if it has a little subscriber next to it, I always answer it, even if it's not the greatest comment. And, if people are positive with their responses, I'll acknowledge them, at least with a gator heart or something. But if it's just freaking trollage, I just ignore it. Sometimes I'll hide it from the channel, too. I love that. I love that option with YouTubers is they don't have to be bullied by people who like to troll all the time. So you can just hide them. They'll still be able to post their comment and they'll see it, but no one else will see their comment. It's the greatest thing, man. It's the greatest reverse troll. I just love it. And people thinking they're commenting.
Reverse troll.
It's a reverse troll, man. It's like the content creators trolling the person leaving the troll comments, because they'll still post them and it'll show on their screen, but no one will see their comment. And they won't even know they're restricted. They won't even know. It's the greatest thing, man. I think they had to put that. YouTube probably had to have something like that in place for all of this cyber bullying. And I mean,
well,
dude,
sure.
One time I saw a YouTuber. He must have been in his 70s, and he was just playing just a simple, I don't remember what he's playing. It was something simple. It wasn't like a shooter or anything. And he was on a live stream, and I guess it posted YouTube, and these people were trashing this guy. Just wrecking him, man. And he was taking it personally, and he was in tears. And I'm like,
you can't take it personally.
The internet is a anonymous wasteland of usually 13-year-old kids who hate the world because they couldn't get their piece of candy this week that they wanted or something from their mommy and daddy. So, that's the way anybody who leaves a comment that's trolly like that, I always see him as a 13-year-old kid wearing a used Turtle Beach headset and playing on their, I don't know, whatever console their parents handed down to him or whatever. I try to come up with an avatar when anybody gives me a shitty comment. And when I always think of it that way, it always makes me chuckle a little bit when I get comments like that. So, dude, we're here to do it for the love of doing it. We don't really, I love comments saying, hey, yeah, absolutely, man. Hell yeah. Or, I don't agree. If someone has a constructive comment, like, I'd like to agree with that, man, but I just don't think they're going to do it or something like that. But, these, dead game, why are you still playing Destiny, dude? You're way too much copium, dude. What are you doing? I'm like, hide user from channel. Well, RhasaGhoull, I really don't know enough about. I don't really know a lot about you. Let me do it again.